All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Group Up Podcast. It has been a while since I said that sentence. Wow, that was like a flashback for myself. How is everybody doing? Hope you guys have been well. And we're back for another star-studded lineup as we're here to discuss the great Season 1 Marvel Rivals debate. We're going to be talking about everything that's happened in Season 1 of Marvel Rivals. And I brought the legendary Marvel Rivals squad here to discuss everything. So in the bottom right, we've got my man Bogur, Mr. Marvel Rivals himself. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you guys doing? I'm chilling. I just was stuck in a game that we lost, but it's okay.
Tough.
It's fine.
What's
It
new?
do be like that.
What's new? It do be like that. In the top left, returning as always with the Group Up Podcast, is my man Flats. Flats, what's up?
This is nostalgic right now. It's weird. There's a lot of good things that are going on. Starting an SVB podcast. I feel like I'm like right back in 2022.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the podcast listeners want to hear me go on like a 15-minute rant about what bizarre feelings I feel just right now, the out-of-body experience of like being back here. But it is good to be back here. It's good to be talking to you guys again. And for her first appearance in quite a while, Aramori, you've been I think you were one of the first guests on the podcast way back in the day. But it has been a while, and I want to introduce you to, yes, my friend Aramori, the first female pro player for Sentinels ever. And now from our rivals. Aramori, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I woke up early to be here. I usually wake up at 2:30 p.m. So
I hope you guys appreciate that. I hope you guys appreciate the dedication to come in and giving you hot takes, actually waking up. I feel that I wake up at like 2:30. So, but thankfully, because I live in Europe, works out. Bogur, what's your sleep schedule like these days?
Code.
I wake up at 10 a.m. and I go to the gym.
Wow.
Okay, relax.
Yeah.
Put together.
Yeah.
Flex on us.
Yeah, I used to
Imagine
wake up
actually being
earlier.
healthy.
I used to wake up earlier, but it's kind of difficult. For a while, I would wake up at like 2 p.m. because I played with a bunch of NA streamers. So that was an experience right there. But I think it's okay. I'm happy with it.
I go to the gym at midnight. It's actually lit. There's no one there, so it's actually awesome.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I like that way of doing things. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Let's work out Marvel Rivals how we feel. So as we always do, we'll start with our general opening thoughts. So, people, give me your, let's say, minute long or less summary of just your overall thoughts on how Season 1 of Marvel Rivals has felt for you. Success, unsuccessful, mostly good, mostly bad, loving it, hating it. I'll go with Bogur first. Bogur.
I think it's it's end of season, so end of season is always kind of boring. So I think a lot of people are not playing that much, and viewership is lower, and like there's agents in ranked. The demons, the goblins come out at night. So it's just people are just waiting for the next season. But I think overall the season has been pretty positive. I think a lot of cool characters were released. I'm excited to see next one. I'm excited to see the Venom twerking mode. Did you see that one, SVB?
Yeah, I did. I saw more about it than I wished to be honest.
Yeah, so that will be a banger right there. I'm excited for that one. But I think overall, all right. I think they've improved in Season 1, probably. Not Season 1, Season 0, and Season 1, because now it's Season 1.5. It's a weird way they do it. But so far, net positive. So far, I want to see, more stuff. More, maybe nerf Hela. Maybe there's some characters that need to get executed, but other than that, it's all right. I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that. We'll just for a running order, we're going to talk about balance, hero additions. We're going to talk about the actual gameplay, like how it feels, the format, the hero bans, the 6v6. We'll talk about the pro scene and the competitive ladder as well. But yeah, Flats, do you agree? Bogur says kind of mostly good shit. Some complaints, but mostly happy with how Season 1 went. How about you?
I think the honeymoon phase is absolutely over. I think it's done. I think it's it's actually very funny. I think that in a lot of ways they've done a lot of good, and I think Season 2 will be another big, like, huge, like, excitement period again. My big long-term worry is that these are very long seasons, and if anything, actually, it's kind of it's very nice to have another game or other games to jump to like during that end period time, because like Bogur was saying, right now it's kind of there's not a whole lot going on, but that's normal for an end of season. but these end of seasons are going to drag even longer than a lot of us are used to. So I'm a little concerned how that will go long term. But at the moment, it's okay. But here we are in March, and everyone was saying in December this was the best game of all time. Could do no wrong. By January, it was the same thing, but with like some small complaints that most people just kind of yelled at. And now, I was gonna actually make a video on this. I've decided to hold off until I'm fully ready to do it. But if you look at most of like the casual complaints, like your Reddit, Twitter, whatever, I feel like half of them are just asking for Overwatch at this point, and it's kind of fucking hilarious. But like, I wasn't ready to start that shitstorm. But I'm very interested to see what the future looks like for a game like this, because people want it to be a casual game, but it also wants to be a pro game at the same time. How is that going to work?
Yeah, it's been very interesting for me looking from the outside in, where I'm just like, I saw that kind of transition happen just from what I see other people feedbacking on my social media, right? Where it's like, in December, it was like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, right? Like, this is the fucking smoke this in a pipe and I'm happy for the rest of my life kind of shit. And then over time, you start to see complaints creeping in. You start to see people being like, oh, they haven't nerfed this person yet, and what the fuck are they doing here? And then you start to see, these Reddit posts and whatnot where people are complaining about some the things that all the Overwatch players will find familiar, right? It's like, oh, the supports are busted, they're brainless, and why are they balancing for the pros? They don't care about the casual play. Like all the same greatest hits playing again. So it's interesting. We'll get into more of that, but I want to talk to Aramori next. Aramori, how's it been for you? Obviously, we'll talk at length with you about the pro side, but I'm sure you felt that disconnect as well, where like some people are wanting it to be casual, you're engaging at the highest end. Overall, how's it been for you?
Yeah, so I'm definitely still happy with the game. Right now my biggest gripe is just you cannot play like, I guess, one above all ranked, so like top 500, without a stack. Like if you try and like queue as like a solo queue, it's like 15, 20, 30-minute queues, even longer. Like once you get past like the 200 mark of it, like eternity. I've had some people that just have sat there for an hour to get one game, right? And I mean, that is the same argument I think maybe was in Overwatch, but not for solo queue. It was like the opposite. It was like, okay, groups, like duos, you're waiting maybe an hour to get a game, and then you have to drop the duo and go solo or something. Okay, Bogur's gonna be, look, maybe not, I don't know, but either way, it is ridiculous.
I wasn't reacting to you, Aramori. I was reacting to my chat. Somebody in chat was typing some wild shit. I was like, what?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't ever read anything into Bogur's faces. He's just built like that. He just has faces.
Okay. But yeah, it's like impossible to find a game solo queue in one above all, which is like it's like a blessing and a curse, right? Because then you get higher quality games, more people are playing together, right? But then yeah, it's like, okay, none of my friends are on at 2 p.m. EST. I guess I just go on like a GM or Celestial account and try and play that way. So that's my only gripe, really.
Because this is still open queue, right? Like Overwatch didn't have these problems until role queue came in, right?
Right, exactly. As far as I'm aware, as far as I remember.
Yeah, so it's a little bit alarming to hear, but maybe that's something they can work on. Let's dig in a little bit more into this transition of season 1 then, because before we get into specifics of like balance and stuff, are you surprised at the honeymoon? You guys all kind of said that the honeymoon phase, as Aramori may be the most upbeat, but the Bogur and Flats, you kind of said, yeah, the honeymoon phase is over. Are you surprised that it ended this quickly, or would you kind of expect it? Yeah, a couple months in, this is.
It wasn't quick. It wasn't quick. It's been like months.
It took actually a while.
Yeah,
it took a while. Yeah, it wasn't quick at all.
You actually think it could have gone longer? Like you could have think it should have been shorter. Actually, it might have been a shorter honeymoon phase.
I expected it to be shorter. I thought it was like 1 month and then we're done. I'll be honest with you. But they actually did really smart decisions. So the first month we had season 0, and then a month later, instantly new season, and then halfway through, boom, 2 more heroes. It actually kept up the hype a lot. But I think season 2, when it comes out and whatever they release, is going to bring back the hype, and people are going to come back, and there's going to be new drops, and there's going to be this and that. People are going to, all the new stuff.
Hello guys, SEB here, and the Group Up podcast is back, and I'd like to take just 30 seconds of your time to talk to you about 2 quick things. Firstly, Patreon. If you enjoy the content, then please do consider supporting directly, because Patreon takes only about 10% of the money you give, where YouTube and Twitch take 40 and 50% respectively. So if you'd like to support the podcast, then that is the best way to do so. Secondly, if you're someone who enjoys video essays or detailed analysis of movies, TV, or anime, then please do check out my second channel, The Soak, where I'll be making videos about those kind of topics much more frequently, and where a lot of my attention will go beyond just Overwatch. It would mean the absolute world to me if you guys would check it out, but that's it for now. Let's head back to the discussion. And Flats, you concur, you actually think this honeymoon lasted longer than you expected?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They were honestly kind of geniuses with their marketing of that. Like season 0, that's like everyone's super excited. They leaned in really hard. Like this is like only the beginning. And then by the time like when you would have started to like, okay, like this is it, boom, season 1 hits. And it's like, okay, here's double everything you guys have already received or were going to receive. And then as that starts to die down mid-season, and like mid-season was definitely just like a small, like it was a bump, but like it wasn't like season, like the start of the season again. Like it only lasted maybe like 2 weeks of like really big hype, and then it just kind of like, then it really started to decline again much quicker. I will say I'm a little bit worried long term because like they haven't at least announced anything of like solving a lot of those players' complaints of either ranked issues or smurfing or like some people have like pricing issues. Like I don't think that'll ever get solved. That's just you're crazy. Or like balance stuff or whatever it is like that. I'm very, very, very curious for the next 6 months. Because like even though I think they're doing everything right as a free to play on the treadmill, releasing content, scheduled updates type game, will they continue to have the same public good faith, like everyone believes in them, things that they're doing, they could do no wrong as they currently have? Because at least to me, even though I think they've been doing a great job so far, I don't think people will ever be happy. And it's only a matter of time where one of those two groups that isn't getting listened to is going to get really pissed off, and just which one is going to be first.
I mean, yeah, I don't think people are going to be happy is as profound and true a statement as ever could be made, Flats. I think that is an accurate assessment. Aramori, how about you? Do you see the warning signs as well? Do you feel like you kind of want to see how this next few months go? Because you all, like, I feel like the life cycle of free-to-play games can be so short these days, where it's like people can very quickly turn off from a game, even when it seems to be doing well. It's like 1 or 2 bad decisions and people are just done with it. So how do you feel about that aspect?
Yeah, I maybe have like a little bit of a different opinion where like I think the beauty of this game so far is that hero bans are in the game, right? So if something is just awful and you don't want to play against it, like if you were just like, I hate Jeff, you can just like convince your team like to ban Jeff and he's never going to be in your games. Like you have that freedom, right? And so I think, the more that they drop heroes, the more bans they're going to put into place or ban slots they're going to put into place. And then it kind of becomes like a choose your own adventure at that point. So, Hella Hater 91 will never have to play against Hella if they don't want to. Yeah, me too, right? I'm also Hello Hater 91. That's my ult actually. So it's interesting in that way because I don't feel like I have like this like growing resentment for like one character because there's a lot of different like overpowered characters and bans change that so much like game to game. Like my when I requeue, there's a word for this. Like my replayability is so different from like each game that I don't have this like growing resentment for like one character. Maybe everybody else feels a little bit differently. Like maybe as like a Vanguard player, Flats is like, oh, I hate Cloak. Cloak is terrible. I hate playing against Cloak. She fades all my ults or something like that, right? But for me,
Wolverine.
it's just okay. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Wolverine.
that might be the only one, but I'm a perma Wolverine banner, so like I'm
Yeah.
There we
agree with
go.
you, actually.
Can I be honest, guys? 100% honesty. If Marvel Rivals had no bans, the game would be absolutely fucking horrible.
Oh,
Mhm.
for sure.
Like it would be so bad. It
100%.
would be so unplayable. Like just genuinely 100% serious here. I can't imagine every game playing against Wolverine. Can't imagine playing against Helen and more. Every game would be so bad. I would not be playing this game. I would go back to Overwatch today if there was no bans. I am back queuing up Winston.
Well, this brings up the interesting thing because obviously a large section of the players don't have hero bans, right? Like that is
Right.
the thing. So maybe do you then understand why players sometimes get frustrated because they don't have the access to ban these
Yeah.
much hated
Yes.
heroes?
Yes,
Overwatch would be so much
100%.
better 5 years ago if we had bans. I'm saying it. Like if goats ban, Mercy Meta ban this. So I think Marvel Rivals played really smart, and I'm really happy Overwatch is actually bringing bans to the game because
Right.
it
So
just solves so many issues.
bronze
Mhm.
to plat, there's no hero bans, and that's
Fuck them.
how many
Send them.
millions of people? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Forget about them. They're not
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
I
the vast
definitely
majority, the
think
vast majority
they
of the
just
player
need
base.
bans. Just
No.
all ranks should just have bans.
Yeah, probably,
Period.
probably. I agree. You should have bans everywhere because I can't imagine imagine you're a tank player in plat or something, and then you just play against Wolverine every game, and
Yeah.
you can carry the game if you're good enough, but you're just not good enough yet, and you can't get it good enough because Wolverine's just like ruining your day.
Mhm.
So
What do you think the
also,
logic is,
wait,
Flats, behind?
wait.
Oh, go ahead, Bogur,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. I would also really want to see what heroes they ban in low elo.
Jeff's
Yeah.
gone every game,
Jeff,
buddy. It's gone.
Benny, or Iron
Oh,
Fist,
Penny, Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say, Flats,
Scarlet
what do you think the
Witch.
logic is of why they haven't put bans in for all the ranks yet?
So here's where I kind of think it happens, where if you are in those bronze to plat ranks, and if you don't play the game, like unless you play the game once a week for like 3 games, I mean this with all due respect, you might not be very mechanically gifted in any way, shape, or form. Gifted might be even a stretch. Mechanically competent might even be a better word. And I don't mean that to flame. I mean that as like a reality of the situation we're in. Because there is extreme rank inflation in this game. Like if you just
Yeah.
play enough, you will climb. So like if you are playing a lot and still not climbing, you have to have an abysmal win rate. We're talking sub 40%. And so when you have players that have a sub 40% win rate, something that I've noticed the most with them is they don't play 1 or 2 characters. They try to play a little bit of everything. And when they try to play a little bit of everything and they mechanically suck and they don't have enough time to put into learning all the characters, they just are like just straight up bots. And so here's the opposite end. The people that are getting close to that flat range, I think are people that probably one trick and just learn one character and they try to like, oh, I'm going to get this one character down. And so if they start to climb using that one character and then it gets banned, now they can't play at all, like at all, period. And they just don't want to play. Like they're just going to hate it. And so, but there's also that other aspect of like, what character is going to get you to around plat and then you're going to get stuck? Probably the characters that are going to get banned a lot, your Pennies, your Jeffs, stuff like that. Because like once you get to a certain point, people learn how to play against them. They're not going to really do that well. But if you spend your entire time playing ranked, playing one tricking Jeff, one tricking Penny, one tricking Iron Fist before they changed him, maybe like those characters you probably could get more kills on. You feel like you were doing more. But then they get banned out, and now you're just right back in the shitter, and you don't have the mechanical skill to make up for it. You're probably gonna hate it a lot quicker. That's at least what I would think. That's my theory, I guess. Because I mean, I've done a little bit of spectating in bronze in this game. Like you remember, I used to do spectating bronze in Overwatch. SCB. I know you haven't been around. I have seen horrors beyond your wildest comprehension. Like I'm talking, I'm not sure if I was watching a cat try to play a video game type of thing. Like I watched games the other day where this guy was playing Magneto and finishing 30-minute games with sub 2,000 damage.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not fucking with you. I have the VOD. It's real. And so if you scale it up from plat like to gold, whatever.
No way.
I think that anyone that's in that plat range is most likely one tricking if they don't put many hours into the game. And then everybody else that actually plays a lot of video games and like, you know what I mean? Like your average gold player to plat players like other games is in GM. I think they're already there. I think that's why GM is so fucking massive. And like everyone says like, every GM game is a shit show where like it's a coin flip of like, do you actually have a competent player on your team or not? I think the metal ranks are either people that just don't ever play video games or like people just don't have time. They play like 2 games a week or 3 games a week. So I know that was a really long-winded answer, but it's a different universe there. It genuinely is.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like it's like trying to protect the experience of the player who's still learning, like still getting to grips with the game. Like you don't want to
Right.
offset them by banning their hero. So that does make sense. I guess the flip side is that eventually their reckoning will come, right? When they do hit Diamond and then they get banned. Now they're trolling in Diamond. But I suppose from the dev side, they might be thinking, well, we just need to get them to play the game. If they get to Diamond, they're invested and they'll stick around. But we don't want them to stop before they have actually gotten into the game, right? We don't want them to quit day 2 because they can't play their hero. So that's the potential argument. While we're on the bans, like Bogur, Aramori, do you guys think that they should add bans to all the ranks? Like, do you still think it's worthwhile?
So yeah, I definitely think the mindset of not putting in bans in low rank is like, just let the person who loves Spider-Man get on the game and just play Spider-Man to their heart's content and not have to worry about. The only thing that's going to stop them is if somebody else wants to play Spider-Man and they lock it before them, right? It's not like, someone's gonna be like, oh, they have a Spider-Man player, ban Spider-Man, like as if that would happen in Gold. But that's not gonna happen, right? Which is good, right? But it also has the flip side of, okay, now let's say, I guess your Black Panther player who has a really hard time of playing versus Namor, Luna team up, can't ban Namor, right? And if I'm a Black Panther player and I have to play against Namor every game, I'm having a bad time. I'm crying myself to sleep, right? So it's like, yeah, they get to log on and play their favorite hero, and the people that they play against that technically counter them probably aren't very good, right? So they're probably able to like play around it, but it's just kind of like, okay, we let them kind of choose their fantasy default, but then they lose kind of like this ability to like almost customize their game, right? So I don't know what's better. I think maybe just having bans in all ranks, because it's only 4 heroes and the roster is like very big. And then they're never going to be the same every single game. So I think maybe just having bans in every ranked would be fine, but I don't know. I'm not a dev, so it's probably fine either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. This is where I'm sure listeners will be screaming, like, this is why you need a bronze Magneto player in your group call right now, SAB. But yeah, I guess we can summarize that as they don't get to pick the hero they want all the time, but then they don't get to ban the hero they want either, right? So like,
Right.
you get to there's a give and a take. So it's always going to be a debate. I think whether you put, like, if you put it in, there's going to be some people who are going to be upset. You don't put it in, there's going to be people who are going to be upset. So I guess it does come down to where the devs land. Bogur, any thoughts on this before we talk about it?
I mean, they're gonna get their heroes banned anyways once they get Diamond, and I feel like in the
Yeah.
long run for the competitive integrity of the game, because now it's only competitive in like one above all, or like 200 plus points in eternity. Everything else, like oh my god, there's demons everywhere, right? So I feel like it's just a mess ranked right now. I do believe though that for the beginning of the game, the way they've done it is better from a casual perspective, because it just rewards you for playing the game and you feel good about yourself, and then you keep playing and you can play whatever you want up until time. But if they want to focus on the competitive aspect and they want people to keep playing competitive, I feel like maybe they should add bans everywhere. And I feel like they should probably not make us all start in bronze, because I feel like that might not be the best decision. But I might be wrong. Might be wrong.
100%. Give me
Yeah,
placements.
give us placements. Because
It's
you
so
smurf,
bad.
you smurf even if you don't want to smurf, right? I rather
Yes.
because I will make an old account. I want to make an old account, do placements, get placed high, never see bronze again. But in bronze, it's just a mess. I was like watching a bronze game and there was a Spider-Man just running around like killing everyone. And like that happens way more often than not, even if you're not trying to smurf. Because like people are just that are inherently better at the game, either from other hero shooters, they're gonna play the
Yeah.
game, and the first games are just gonna be stomps for you, and everyone else is not gonna have fun. So just add placement.
Yeah. And then that in turn also ruins the experience for those people who this is their first, hero shooter or FPS game. They're like, I just want to play Jeff the Land Shark, and then they can't play Jeff the Land Shark. They are just spawn camped by
Yeah.
Smurfs every game. And I know, like, I'm on my 4th account now, ranking it up to get to Celestial for the aforementioned reason of queue times are ridiculous if you're solo queue, right? Once you hit like Eternity 200, somewhere around there. And just getting to Diamond is literally every single game MVP, like 60 kills, like 0 deaths, and it's just like a total roll. And if we had placements, maybe I just start, at that diamond level and just kind of like skip the 2 days of, shitting on randoms. So I don't know. Please placements. That would make me so much happier. And it would save a lot of people some tears.
Sounds like it. I mean, yeah, we'll continue down this ranked conversation while we're here, and I guess this is where it is a new game, right? It's funny because Marvel Rivals in so many ways has taken from other games, and so there's a lot of familiar concepts in there. But then there's these things that took other games a while to iron out. I mean, some don't. I mean, Apex notoriously people still complain about the rank system and the way that's done, but Overwatch, for example, eventually refined its placements, right? Like, if you remember, even Overwatch placements, people used to complain, like, oh, it's too low, I'm getting too many Smurfs. And then they added, I think, in Overwatch 2, this, like, system where they were much more quickly able to detect, okay, this guy is, like, straight to Master. Send him straight to Master. Like, we don't want him fucking around. So it's interesting that Marvel Rivals hasn't... It's still Season 1, but they haven't incorporated that element. They're still throwing everyone down into low bronze, and that's where you can sympathize, because often Smurf complaints are people getting in their own heads, but this is like a legit, not everyone is forced to Smurf.
Yeah.
Plats, how do you feel about it?
I had a passing thought really... a passing thought really quick on the hero bans things. Like, in those like bronze to plat, probably a lot more casual players. And like, what do you think the chances are of spiteful players where it's like, how you hover to start the games, like someone hovers Spider-Man, you're like, I hate playing with Spider-Mans, I'm fucking banning that guy's character right now, fuck you. That's probably going to happen a lot more there than it would happen higher up. Yeah, just a passing
Definitely.
thought. But it's interesting. I think some people made points around the rank reset when they walked back the rank reset. There's been a group of people that are like, no, we should have listened. We should have let them do the rank reset because like they knew better. This was like an adult letting you, make a mistake just so you learn for the future. And it's like, well, hold up now. I think that's a little disingenuous because the system shouldn't be designed to work that way, period. Even if they design the system to like, hey, like we're going to need to do a mid-season rank reset because everyone's going to get inflated really, really quickly. Let's admit that's inherently a bad system. And if you want to do that version, there needs to be something that also accounts for the really, really good Smurf players, because you're never I need you to listen to me for a second. Cause like today I'm streaming on YouTube and on Twitch, and YouTube is a much more casual platform, and I'm reading them at the same time as we're talking, and like they're a lot more angry typically. Like they're like, you Smurfs, how dare you? I want you to literally level with me for a second. You are never, ever in any competitive video game going to stop smurfing unless you take it to the level where you need to have like your government ID attached.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. And like, that is a whole new level that I don't think you genuinely want to happen. There is no way to break it, because you will have people that either want to be bad actors and they want to shit on your bronze games, your silver games, your gold games to feel better about themselves. There's a reason why people cheat in video games. People go and buy cheats for what purpose? One of three: to either try to climb really, really high, to either just like feel good about themselves, beat pro players, or shit on streamers. Two, to feel better about themselves, and they think that they are held back because their mechanical skill, but their game sense is so good. So if they only had better game set or better mechanics, they would climb. Or three, they just want to absolutely shit on every single person in every single lobby, especially like metal rank lobbies, and just run around in circles and kill them all. Those people exist. You want to talk about Smurfs and you want to talk about alt accounts, there's groups of people. There are people that are like some people here. They would need to make another account because they literally can't play the fucking game because they're going to sit in queue for an hour to queue rank. Like, that's abhorrent. That's bullshit. Like, you shouldn't have to sit there for an hour to get a game. And the reason you sit there and say that oh, well, that's fine because you're high rank, it's because it's not you. It's not your experience. That's bullshit. If you had to deal with that, you'd quit. You'd put the game down tomorrow. They should not be punished for being better than you. But then also the system shouldn't have to be where you have to make Smurf accounts to play the game. That's also stupid. But to go even further beyond that, that doesn't mean you shouldn't put protections in for those bronze to diamond players, because they don't deserve to get shit on. And like, there's a good chance that you fall in that range. And so these systems that are being proposed are to protect you from the demons. And like, you're getting mad at the people who maybe do have alt accounts for like playing on them, but they don't want to ruin your games. They have their own problems that they need solved, and there's a way to solve it that already exists, and it's one of the only ways to solve the problem. And you're going to get mad at that person instead of having a system that tries to make both people happy. So it's just dumb. It's genuinely stupid. And on top of that too, there's going to be a lot of people that want to ruin your games from just like smurfing it. They want to make a smurf to like shit on lower ranked players, but they might not be smart enough to realize that some of these systems, the way they're designed, is to pick up on like your numbers or how you played in quick play or something like that. And like you'd have to genuinely be throwing to make the system not like detect you. And then your teammates are probably going to report you for throwing. So like you could get banned for throwing in your in random quick play games because you're obviously trying to purposely rank lower. But then the system also realized, oh, you played one random game where you got 10,000 damage on Hella, but then the next game you did 3 damage on Jeff. Okay, something's up with you. Like what's going on here? Like it can pick up on these things. These are good systems that you should want in your games. You shouldn't get like over the top mad at the players that are trying to solve their issues. So Rivals should have a placement system. I think the rank inflation is a problem. There should be ways to solve all of these things, and you also shouldn't sit in queue for an hour just to queue up a game, because like that's how you get tons of Smurfs accounts. Like if you can't get a game, how are you going to get mad at the player for wanting to play the game? That don't make no sense.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%. Aramori sips tea is like, yes, flats. Give me that juice.
I was gonna say,
go ahead, Bogur.
People just don't understand, as Vlad said. You cannot, like, if you're a streamer or whatever, like when I make another account, I'm not trying to bully lower ranked players. I just sometimes need another account. First, because as Aramori said, high queue times, and second of all, I want to learn something. And I can't learn it on my one above all account because I will be throwing and then I'll be accused by other people. And then third of all, it's just like sometimes when you want to climb like rank 1 or stuff, you can't be queuing up 10 hours a day. You will lose games, so you want to min-max a bit, so you need the second account. So as Vlad said, you just need the system. And that's why I think Overwatch used to catch a lot of flack for it back in the day, that a lot of people would get to GM really fast. I feel like that system wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. Because even if you didn't rank to gem or something, you'll be instantly gem. And that's the system working, right? So I feel like we need a system that can easily determine, or not easily, but at least not send you to bronze instantly. So we need placements, and we need smart placements. So they're like, yeah, this guy might be slightly better than bronze players. Let's get him to, diamond at least. So yeah, I agree with Flats.
Can I cut in really quick?
No.
Yeah.
Because I know this is gonna. No, I wasn't asking. Fuck you. Because you know what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna go, well, you want to learn about something? If only you could choose to play quick play, brother. You're not gonna learn fucking shit in quick play. You go tell me. You go queue 10 quick play games right now. Tell me how many of them you get a good team comp. Tell me how many of them. Realistically, looking at like an actual ranking. Come on, I want to know.
Did you see the post?
I don't know the fucking answer.
Did you see the post? Somebody complained that people don't take it seriously in quick play, and then
I saw that.
Yeah.
And then I replied, and my post got like 20,000 likes, and then people underneath, I was like, bro, why you try hard in quick play? And people were like, yeah, bro, what do you mean why we're try hard in quick play? If you don't want to try hard, play the deathmatch. I was like, bro, Jesus Christ.
There's always another one. Then there's some deathmatch guys. Then there's the deathmatch guys. Like, if you don't want to try deathmatch.
They said if you don't want to try hard, just play deathmatch or versus bots. And I was like, are you guys serious? Wow.
I think again, this is one of those things that I think gives us a little bit of PTSD because as Overwatch players, we've lived through it. But like these discussions have happened before, right? It's like
we played these games before.
It's exactly. We've played these games before. It's the simple thing is like the smurfing issue is universal across gaming, and the simple thing is the more you want to ensure smurfs don't exist, the more draconian you have to get with your rules. And the more you actually want to make your game accessible and like actually easy for people to play, the more likelihood there is that Smurfs will exist, right? So it's like, if you made it so that, as Flat said, you could have your government ID, and maybe some people find some way around that. Well, okay, you look at the systems the games do have, it's like to have your phone linked to your account, right? That's a deterrent, but hey, some people will find a way around it. If it costs $50 to buy the copy of the game, that's a deterrent, but some people will pay extra $50 for another copy. If they hold your mother hostage for have only one account, most people would be fine, but some guy would be like, fuck my mom, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll make a Smurf account. So unfortunately, you can make draconian measures, and they will work to some extent.
Wait,
But then
listen.
it compromises the integrity of the person who just wants to log on and play a game.
We need
Yes,
the
Bogur.
thought police. We need the thought police. We need, okay, are you thinking about smurfing? Banned instantly. You know, you're like, are you pressing, like, even like remotely putting your cursor next to make a new account? Instantly banned, right? Instantly. IP track, fucking MAC address track, scan ID every time you're about to play, scan your eyes. You need to make sure this is the right person and only one account. And then you get instantly swatted if you're like smurfing. It's like, genuine, this is the only way to deal with it.
I think realistically, going to kind of move on from this point, I think what like something like what Overwatch has is the best, because it's like it just detects people very quickly when they're on a new account. It's just very quick to be like, yeah, I know this guy's too good, so let's move him or her away, right? So I think eventually my rivals probably should consider that. Any more thoughts on the rank systems? If there's anything else you guys want to bring up, or bans, before we talk about maybe like heroes and stuff like that? Any other gripes and beefs?
I'm sure we'll talk about, pro play and scrims and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff later, but something that scrims and pro play does have, or the tournaments do have that rank does not, is a ban save system. So you take turns going back and forth. One team will ban Jeff, the other team will ban Hella, and then you can save a character after that. Both teams can save one character. So I'm not sure how reasonable that would be to put in ranked, but if they're adding more bans as more heroes get added, I would like to see saves being put into place. It'd be kind of interesting to see.
You can put it in eternity or above. You know, you can put
Yeah,
like you can have bans in diamond, then eternity you can have saves as well. I think the point of not having saves is
Yeah.
not to make people wait too much, but I don't think that really
Right.
applies in eternity because everyone's just there to sweat.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be really interesting because maybe you have a notorious Hello one trick and then a notorious Spider-Man one trick, and maybe the enemy team has to choose one to ban out. They're not going to get both. So it'd be an interesting system. That's my final thought.
No, it's a good one, and I think another relevant one, and it'll be interesting. Boger's proposing a sort of deteriorating version of rank where it's like in eternity you have like all the good systems, below
Yes.
a diamond above you have
Listen,
some of the good
because
systems,
because
and
you
in
don't want
bronze
to
they're
make
just
it.
like they just slap you every time you start a game. They're like, shut the fuck up, get good, bitch.
If you're playing
Then you'll get good
bronze,
shit.
get out. No, but like it is the point is you don't want to make it too complicated for new players, and you don't want
Yeah.
to waste too much of their time. So if I was playing in plat, if I had to queue up every time, ban 3 characters, save 1 character, I would be like, oh my god, just get it over with, right? So in that sense, I think that's why they don't want to do it. But as I
Right.
said, if it's giga competitive lobbies, I feel like it's a good system to have.
Yeah, that could be another actually reason why they haven't put bans in bronze and stuff, because it's just time. Maybe they don't think that like a bronze player wants to spend the time banning. There's a way around that, which is that like what they do in Dota is they just have you pre-select your bans before you get into the game. So it'll you select like these are the 4 heroes I want to ban in general, and then as soon as you get into the game, it just takes everyone's bans and then like randomly picks from them, and then it just puts those bans in. So that way you just if you're just interested in saving time, at least that's below Immortal. If you're just interested in saving time, that's a potential. Again, I'm sure the devs are aware of these things and they have their reasons. But okay, let's talk then about the heroes. Let's go to heroes next. So we had 4 new heroes launched in season 1 of our rivals. The launched heroes were Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic, and then mid-season came the Human Torch and the thing. So the Fantastic Four graced my rival seasons 1. How do you view them, firstly, as additions to the game? And then how do you kind of view the overall hero roster? So let's just start with the new heroes. We'll go to Aramori first, because I know, Aramori, you play a fair amount of the Invisible Woman. So how do you feel about the 4 additions, the Fantastic Four, as part of the Marvel Rivals roster?
They're all really cool design-wise. Human Torch is very, very cool. He looks fun as hell. But half of them, unfortunately, are very, very bad, and half of them are very good. Just as like a default, blanket term. Thing and Sue are almost like must picks if they're in the game, and then Human Torch and Mr. Fantastic is like if you pick those, you're trolling. So that's just like my that's my opinion
Okay,
on them.
I don't think Human Torch and Mr. Fantastic are on the same level of trolling here. I feel like Human Torch.
Really?
I feel like Human Torch. Like I haven't seen a Fantastic gamer in like weeks, but I do
They
see
made it
some.
worse. They
They
somehow made
made
it
him.
worse.
I don't know why. They actually did make him worse. I think he's worse than Human Torch. I think Human Torch just like you can still get value, right? You can still do
Yeah.
something. But what do you do
Yeah.
with Fantastic? Ho 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 ho.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks
I don't
now.
know. They're both pretty bad, but yeah, Mr. Fantastic is way worse. I will agree with that. I don't know though. Have you been versus his ult in like a closed space? He just kind of like one shots everybody. Have you seen that? There's like a tech where you can bounce up and down really, really quick.
Yeah,
It's
but
really
what if you
scary.
don't sit in a closed space when they have ult? So
Yeah.
yeah, so now
Yeah.
what?
That
What do you
happened to
do
me
then?
one time, never again. So
Yep.
we learned.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, Thing is incredibly fun. I know from like all the Vanguard players I've talked to, they're like, I just get to punch people and get in and I never die, and it's awesome for them. And then Sue is just fun in her own right. Like you've got the pull, which kind of gives a counter for like Wolverine that everyone has been hating on for so long and can push away, Venom and such. They're just fun. All of their kits are very unique, very interesting, very fun. Um, I do think that when Thing was first put into the game, everybody kind of ran around on him for so long, but yeah, it's good times. I like all the heroes pretty much.
Yeah, and it's inevitable to some extent that some will be good and some will be bad. Like that is the nature of releasing. You can't always get it right. You can't always make them viable. But do you think they're kind of overall healthy additions to the game? And are they like a good archetype? Flat. So take it to you. Do you think these are like a good indicator for how heroes will come into Marvel Rivals?
No, actually. I'm
Drama.
well, hang on. Listen. Okay. Tell me I'm wrong that most of the supports just have a circle of healing as their ultimate.
Supports are boring. They're so boring. I'm sorry, Aramori.
Right. Like if they do more supports in the future, even Loki, who I think Loki's fucking sick. Loki's so cool. I wish I was
He
good at
is
Loki.
really cool.
Yeah, he is
But,
sick.
but Loki's best version of using Loki is to look at your other support
Yeah.
that just hits Q and then heals in a circle. Like
Yeah.
that's the best version to use. And
Yeah.
so that's scary if that's the philosophy of the game design going forward. And so far, right, like Thing I thought was at first potentially not going to be very good because he was just a worse Hulk. Then Hulk got nerfed and it was like, ooh, wait a minute. Actually, this might be pretty good. This might be doable now. Now you can just kind of brawl. Plus like double shield, he kind of does pretty well versus it. And as long as as long as Groot's banned, they also just like buffed Groot a few times. As long as Groot's banned, thing is actually really, really good and really, really fun. I enjoy playing them because like you ever played PUBG? You ever hit someone with the frying the skillet in PUBG? Ha-boom! It's like hitting a right click every single time. It's just constant serotonin. It's awesome. But then you look at Human Torch and then you look at Mr. Fantastic, and I thought it was just like blatantly obvious that the best way to make Human Torch better was just to increase his flight speed and just make it so he can fly around a little faster. But I understand that maybe they were a little bit afraid of just making him too fast. So like they went like a different route. They gave him like more pellets and stuff like that. And it's like, he's better, but like I don't see a reason to ever really play him. I think like if we're talking about flyers, like Storm is way better. Even Iron Man, I think, is personally better. So it's like, ooh, okay. And then we have Mr. Fantastic, and Mr. Fantastic, he's just so strange. Like I know they tried to go like this hybrid route of like tank DPS, but it doesn't really do either of them well. But if you ask like a metal rank player, they used to say that Mr. Fantastic was the best thing since sliced bread, and everyone was wrong, and that they own lobbies. And it's like, well, when you're gonna climb up, So I can see you. Oh, that's tough. So it's like, is that like, I'm wondering how much of like, so when a hero in Rivals is going to come together, like they already have it made, right? They just pulled from the Marvel universe. Um, Having to stick somewhat close to that fantasy, is it restricting potentially in the future? Could that be restricting? I don't think so. I think that that's probably reading too far into it. But I think that with the pace that they're going to be releasing characters, because they're going to release 2 heroes a season, and their seasons are 3 months long. I wonder how long it'll be until we're starting to be like, oh, these are actually like very similar characters in a lot of ways.
Mm.
Like they're not unique. That's like my fear. Um, but so far, they're at least very unique. The 4 heroes that came out were all very unique, mostly. Um, but 2 of them were so horrendous that they don't really get played at all. So I think that when you have a series, like I think of like Overwatch's Lifeweaver season, right? Remember when Lifeweaver came out? It was like
No,
I think the
don't.
hype died within 2 hours of season 4. Like I remember like the Twitch category went to like 100K viewers, character came out. Within 2 hours, it was back to like 30K. Everyone's like, oh, this is fucking ass.
I
I'm
remember.
out. Like, we're good. Yeah, I mean, you're probably the only person in Overwatch period that benefited from Lifeweaver's release.
I am
but
still standing. You know, it's like Jonah and Todd right here.
but I don't know. I hope I hope that doesn't end up being the case, because like when you have 4 heroes released for a season, 2 of them being shit, not too bad. You have 2 good ones. But if they're releasing 2 a season and the starting one is ass and the second one is potentially ass, oh, I don't want to know what that future looks like.
I think there will be ass characters no matter what, as long as they're goofy in some way, right? So there's something unique to them. I mean, I think it's important to have ass characters. You can't make a game without having shitty characters. It's just like unfeasible. It has to just be a unique concept. Might not work, but it's gonna have its own community. But I think the reason why so many supports have just a circle of healing is because if you didn't have so many support modes, there's so many lethal characters in this game, so many lethal ultimates just wipe you that if you just don't have these ultimates, you lose every fight, right? So I do think Luna is annoying a lot. I think her ult needs to be nerfed. Like the duration is 12 seconds, ridiculous, right? And I think Loki farms too fast. But I think Invis Woman, I think Mantis ults, they're good examples of circles healing, right? I think because you can counter Invis Woman ult in some ways. You can Groot ult off, the circle thing. Mantis, you can just kill through, right? So I think it's just important to have these ultimates, but I do hope they don't focus too much on these ultimates. They add something more unique to the game, like a nano boost, but put it on steroids. Do 5 nano boosts for everyone on the team. I don't fucking know, right? Because they always put everything on steroids. Just make it something else, right? So it's just because imagine a scenario where they add 3 bans and then all the supporters get banned. Like it will be Dead by Daylight for the backline. It will be so miserable. Like, Silo code wiped. Punisher ult wiped. What else? Fucking just Groot ult wiped. Every fight wiped. Right. So, no. Right. So I do think it's boring, but I also think that if you don't have these ultimates, I think it will be miserable to play for a lot of people. Star-Lord ult will be menace. It will be actually ridiculous. It still is a menace, right? So
already is, yeah.
Yeah, so I think so they made a lot of characters be really fun and really lethal, but they need to make the supports like more boring in that sense. Otherwise, it's cooked.
Yes, I wanted to return to this. So we kind of ironed out the 4 new characters, but I wanted to return to this initial accusation and give Aramori the chance to rebut, which is that you guys kind of both assert that support boring, and that a lot of support also boring. Support also just circles healing. Aramori, how do you respond? Because this isn't just these guys saying it. I've seen this complaint across social media that the support characters are boring, easy to get value on. How do you respond to those accusations?
I would say you're not totally wrong. It's definitely true. Like in terms of like Overwatch difficulty versus like Marvel Rivals, not to like continuously like compare them. Overwatch supports are so much harder to just like get value on, to use their ults like efficiently. I mean, except for like Zen Trank. Like pretty much every support ult in Marvel Rivals, except for a few, is like Zen Trank immediately, right? And that you just can run around and kind of do what you want, right? So it is really, really easy to get value on strategist within Marvel Rivals. But I will say something controversial. I do think while it is like very easy to get like blanket value on strategists, it's also very hard to like carry. So like if your team is like pretty like even in terms of like DPS or tank, there's not really too much you can do to like turn that. Like if I'm playing Luna Snow, I'm just kind of like go like this and be like, oh, I hope my team lives. I just gotta ult at the right time and damage boost at the right time and hit the sleeps I can on the ults, and that's all I can do, right? Like just kind of blanket value. Just be consistent, right? And I mean that's kind of the same in Overwatch, but I feel like this is like a different level of like just you have to just be consistent and hope that wins, right? You don't get to like kill 9 people and be like, yay, I won the game that way. The only, you know, here that might do that is Loki. I have double copied Stormold and put the whole enemy team in the blender before, right? But there's nothing like you're not like gonna like kill 3 people a fight, right? Whereas like maybe on Overwatch, right, your BAP on an off angle with a window, you can just kill 3 people.
Or even
Yay!
Anane. One good Anane,
Yeah.
you just win the game. Like
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
true.
But yeah. That's what I mean by support is boring. I mean, you don't have the carry potential to swing fights all of the times. And all you
Yeah.
do is just heal bot. That is the best play unless you're playing something that can DPS. But like if you don't heal bot, you don't get your ult first, and they get their ultimates first. On support, you just lose the fight, right? So
It kind of feels like every support in this game is like almost like main support
yeah,
outside of like Loki and like Adam, right?
yeah.
Um, like maybe Loki can like flank. You're in a fight. You're down 4 ults. You need to make a play, right? You don't have your ult. You can go invis, throw down 2 clones on somebody and try and like one shot them, right? Like I've seen people do that. I've done that myself. There's some things you
Or
can do,
even like
but
just the rune positioning, or just like anything. Loki is
Mhm.
such a good character. We need more Loki characters in support. I'm sorry for
I
cutting you off.
agree. No, I totally agree. And I'm in Loki myself, right? Um, but if Loki's banned and I have to play Luna, I'm like, oh, okay, Luna game. Like, I guess I'll work on my clap timings and
Can we talk about
freeze.
Luna Snow? Oh my god, it's like that character I hated. Like 12 seconds and more like ult, and then the team up. Oh my god, I should talk about the Namor team up.
Oh,
It's
she's so
horrid.
broken.
She's so busted. Why is she? I swear. Okay, I'm gonna call out Danny Wu here, bro. He made this character a long time ago. He created this character. I hope you realize in the Marvel universe in general. I swear to God, he doesn't want to nerf this character because he made it. I swear there is some corruption going on, bro. Like it's been 12-second ultimate since the dawn of time, since the beta. It's like just put it
For all it needs
down.
to be like 8 seconds max.
I
Or
agree
minimum
completely. It's actually just
max.
ridiculous. If 10
I
seconds
think.
from
Sorry,
yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I thought you were gonna say. I was gonna say. I think that might break the dam. This might fucking sound crazy, but I think the reason they haven't touched the supports, especially that is going to break the dam for a lot of those casual support players to think that their role is getting thrown in the shitter. Because
Give them more
even
tools.
though that, listen, I know there's alternatives, but like, hear me out on this, right? I think that a lot of the things that a lot of the people who play casual right now champion is that this game is for them, right? It's like they're not really balancing off of like pro play, and like, you know, there's also that small group that has formed. If you haven't noticed it, I've noticed it, which is like we should stop listening to streamers, you stop listening to pros, even
Yes.
though it's not like there's like some conspiracy streamer agenda where we meet once a month in private and we all
What do you
like
mean that's not what
hop on
this
a Discord
is?
call.
This is
Like,
not what this is.
The big council, the other meeting I'm talking about. You guys have been there.
right.
And it's like, okay, which characters should we go tell the devs to nerf this month? Like, we should do these ones, right? And they're holding that line because like these these supports are still strong, and it's like they
People.
actually feel impactful, right? But like, I want to at least propose that there is a bit of a slippery slope on that, where, and tell me if you really think I'm wrong, but like really good players, and especially pro players, will always, always, always mid max. And so right now, Luna ult being 12 seconds is just ridiculous. But even if you put it to 8, is there a world in 6 months from now where you guys get so fucking good at timing your ults, whether it's for like you know you're going to start comboing with another ult like to flip it for damage boost, but also like they have an ult coming up, so it's like you've already pre-fight planned that hey, they're going to Groot ult this and they don't have a combo to kill through Luna ult, so I'm going to Luna ult it, and then right after we get undone we're going to flip it and I'll switch to damage boost and we will kill them, right? And it's like you have this already all planned to a T where 8 seconds is more than enough, right? And
Yeah.
it won't be, and then you can go, you'd have to go even lower. It's like, oh well, now we have to go to 6 because 8's still a little too long, right? And I think that's the way they think about it, where it's like, 12 seconds is ridiculous for us, but like if you're like gold, it sometimes takes them 4 seconds to realize that they need to walk forward with the ult to go save somebody that's a little bit ahead of them, because they're so focused on the circle. They're looking at the circle. They're not looking at the teammates who need help. They're looking at themselves the entire time. And then like after 4 seconds go, oh, wait, that guy's critical, and then start walking at them, right? And it's like that's just like I think the way they think about it. And I think a lot of people are petrified of their characters getting nerfed, and that's why there's almost become this um, this mentality of like you shouldn't nerf characters, you should buff them because people react so poorly to nerfs. And I don't even think that's correct, but it gets people to play and they still have fun, and that's the goal at the end of the end of the day, is keeping the game fun. Because if the game isn't fun, then people aren't going to play. It's not going to last. So it's like you have power creep that will endlessly happen that way, though. How do you keep that from hitting in a point of no return? I don't even think anyone's figured it out yet. Like we're in uncharted territory in that point. I feel like the whole industry across the board, from Apex to Valorant to Overwatch to Rivals, has changed their philosophy on how to balance video games. And we haven't got there yet. We don't know what it's going to look like in 2 years from now if you just keep buffing things. And I think that's why Rivals doesn't want to nerf. I think if anything, they'll buff other things to keep up. And if they do nerf something, it's going to be the smallest thing that only us will notice. Like Hella 2-tap headshot, they might change that. So it's like a 2.5, like they have to hit a body shot somewhere in there. But like most players aren't going to notice that difference. And like that's why like when you read the patch notes from them, they're always written kind of oddly too. Like they're almost hard to decipher. And I don't know if you've ever actually read the patch notes sometimes, but like it sounds like sometimes they came down with like a cold.
They're
Oh,
role
playing
playing
an
in the patch
ARG.
notes.
Yeah, they really are, So
They should
I don't
start
know.
encoding with hashing algorithms and salt them and add fucking encryption methods in them so that only the good players can actually decrypt them. They should give us all a key so that only we know what changes, right? And then all the plebs, they can just have fun. Oh, Luna got nerfed to 8 seconds. I didn't notice that. It's been like 2 months. I couldn't decrypt it.
Shoot, I had a really good point I wanted to bring up, but oh, okay, so 2 points I had. I think with Human Torch being added to the game, I think his team up with Storm was kind of like their answer to how long support ults are, because if you do the Human Torch Storm team up correctly, you do just like kill through support ults, right?
I swear it doesn't work. I swear it doesn't work. I've seen people do
So-
it and it just doesn't kill them.
So your Luna has to stand in the fire tornadoes to die.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to be AFK and it still doesn't work. So they added this
Right.
entire combo, this entire card to counter support ults, and it doesn't work unless you AFK. And it's like, oh
That
my
was
God.
that was their idea though, I think, with that team up was like, okay, support ults are really, really strong. We'll give them a way to kill through support ults. Okay, it doesn't work in high ranked rank, obviously, because your Luna's not gonna stand still and stand in the fire tornadoes, right? But I think that was the idea, which kind of goes with what Flats was saying of like, they're not gonna necessarily nerf characters, they're just gonna like buff or add other things to the game to kind of deal give you answers to deal with other things, right? And then like to go even further back on your point of like, even if for us, or I don't want to say pro players, but all of us here, like highest rank, if we're using Luna ult, we're using 12 seconds of it, right? And maybe the lower ranked players, like they don't get the full value, like they're walking for 3 seconds of their ult and then using the rest of like the 9 seconds, right? The big problem with Luna ult is really on Koth and just like point maps in general. Like it's not as much on like payload, but like just area, I don't know, capture point, right? You can just be on the point for 12 seconds and then the enemy team pops their ult for 12 seconds and then everybody's at a standstill. We're all just standing there looking at each other. Nobody can kill each other. You might as well just like emote in that moment, right? Because
That's why they added the Venom thing. I'm just saying it.
both Luna ults going off and my
It just
Venom's
starts
twerking on point.
breaking it down.
Like
I thought you were gonna
like,
start doing it, Bogur. I thought you were gonna
No,
start.
no, listen. Listen.
Yeah,
No.
sorry
I
for
wouldn't do
show.
that. Waiting for April 1st.
And so I don't think it matters what rank you are, but if both Luna ults are going off, you're just kind of like, okay, what now? And so when I do, rank up an account, when I hit Diamond, the most common bans are like Luna and Cloak, to be honest with you. Because people
Look is
just
so ass, no?
yeah, not anymore. I think that's wrong now, but people
Loki,
just didn't
maybe?
like how long. No, people don't ban Loki in lower ranks.
I think
Um,
Loki
lower
gets
ranks.
worse
Oh, sorry.
when Luna is open. Because you can just
That
24
definitely.
seconds. Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, like old Cloak ult, right? People were so annoyed with it because it was just as long as Luna ult and you could like stack it and it was just really annoying for them. And so I think that yeah, we were saying, oh, maybe Luna ult doesn't really need nerf because in lower ranks, right, they don't use the full value. But I think people are really upset where they're just standing there, not being able to play the game for 12 seconds, right? And then again, like what was it, Bogur or Flats? One of you said Loki is also a big problem with Luna, right? And 24 seconds of both teams doing absolutely nothing but looking at each other. And that is really, really bad, especially in higher ranks on Koth maps, right? That's if you have point control and you have both of your support ults, that is guaranteed like over 30% of the point that is just yours default, just by stalling with your support ults. So
Yeah,
it
I mean,
needs to be changed.
I think you guys have made really good points, and I think this is like a general problem that developers have to answer, right? Like one thing that Flats kind of brought up is that this idea of like a snowballing community sentiment, right? It's like once you, as you said, break the dam, like once an idea catches on, it can become very toxic. Like a community who's like, oh, they nerf the supports all the time, or like, oh, supports are the victims of something, right? Like the other roles are always targeting us and the devs always nerf us. It can become quite harmful for a community, so I totally understand like a reluctance to let that get in there, right? Even the stuff you're talking about, Flats, about like pro versus casual is another such example, right? Where it's like people start to believe that like they only care about the pros or they only care about the casuals, and that ideology can be hard to shake. But I do think that like as a developer, you have to make the mature decision, right? You have to make the decision that's, it can't all be short-termism, though that is often what corporations do, and what you're talking about, what other games are doing. It's like corporate, like homogeny is a very common thing where they just do the same thing because another company's doing it, whether it's necessarily good or bad. And so this idea that like, let's just not nerf because it'll upset casual players, like it has like a slight amount of logic, but in the long term, I think it fails. I think that's like demonstrably true, is that like you kind of have to, the longer your game exists, you kind of have to balance for a more competitive edge, because you're never going to keep a fully, like there's only so many people that you can saturate as a market, right? There's only so many people who are going to come into Marvel Rivals like, oop-de-doo, what is Marvel Rivals? Oh, I have to push a button? Oh, that's really complicated. Like there's only so many people that applies to. Eventually, people are going to play the game and either have decided they like it or stop playing it, or decided they never wanted to play it because they never liked it. And so the people you're left with are the people who actually play the game, actually have hours in the game, and actually want to improve in the game. And you kind of have to make their experience better. You can't always be like, oh, we don't make things too complicated. We don't want to make things too like difficult. Because then what all you're left with is a very, very small casual player base who don't give a shit. Because even when you add 10 characters, it still becomes more complicated. Even if you keep those characters casual, 10 characters, 10 maps, a new system, a new map type mode, like all these things make it inaccessible anyways. And then your competitive players are like, this shit sucks. This guy's been busted for 10 seasons. This guy, like, this way this works is ass. This role is too easy. So I think they have to, like, we see this in other games. Like, I saw Valorant, actually, one of their game balance, like, high-end game balancers was like, someone shared a clip on Twitter that was like, I remember when Valorant was about using tactical grenades and smokes and, like, you had to actually shoot your way out of a fight. And now it's just, like, 20 blinding lights on the screen and like explosions and effects. And
I
one
saw
of the
that
like
too.
one of the lead balance guys was like, yeah, actually, you're right. We have fucked up, and we do need to draw this back. So, anyways, to bring that point back home, I do think Marvel Rivals need. I mean, it's only season 1, so it's still early days. They don't have to like hit the panic button yet. But I do think long term, you have to. You can't dumb things down. You have to like make things harder as you go. Like the balanced trajectory of your game has to be to make it harder. It can't be to make it simpler or try to keep it simple, quote unquote. Because I think that's a failure of a strategy. Bogur, you had something you wanted to say.
I was gonna say it's inevitable that your free-to-play game will fucking suck at some point, and you can't do anything about it. It's about if the developers are gonna do something about it, is they will make mistakes and it will get out of hand. Because when you start a free-to-play game as successful as Marvel Rivals, I feel like over time they need to keep adding more ridiculous stuff. They need to keep adding more things that will bring people into play, and it will break the balance, right? So once you hit that point, like with Valorant, are the developers gonna admit their fault and they're gonna change that, or are they gonna be like, no, this is fine, and keep adding to the fire? So I feel like you can keep it in mind, but it's just inevitable that you will make the mistake of doing something ridiculous. Either all the supports are going to be, for example, just maybe 1 year in the future, we're going to have 10 support players, not support players, 10 support nodes, all of them Luna Snow, like copy paste, right? Then like, yeah, it's fucking, that will suck. Or add 10 Wolverine characters, right? And be like, okay, guys, we might have fucked up here, okay? So I think it's just about it's just inherently the issue with these kind of games. You can't keep adding stuff because imagine you add the Lifeweaver to the game. Lifeweaver, as Flat said, just nobody wanted to play the game because they added him, because in the sense it was just boring to play or watch. It was so bad, right? So you need to keep reinventing the wheel in some way, or keep adding more ridiculous stuff. And this is why Valorant fell into the thing it fell into, because they kept adding more stuff to keep bringing players in. It's just inherently in the nature of the game, and then once in a while you just need to do a hard reset, or you just like try to fix it. But it will happen with Rivals. To be honest, with the entire support thing, I've seen that it's a lot better now, in the sense that they didn't change anything, but if you play smart, there's ways to deal with it, right? Like if you play the Gamma with Hulk, you can kill through the support ult pretty easily. Even if you don't have the Gamma, you can damage boost the Strange after he ults, or Focus Start, you can one-shot. I've been playing with Andrew. Andrew is one-shotting everyone with Rocket Raccoon damage boost or Luna ult. With Venom stuff, you can just kill through. Actually, if you have Mantis damage boost and a Rocket damage boost or a Luna damage boost, you can kill through even without your right click on Venom. You can just bite them and they die. So I saw that Hawkeye with his explosive arrows, if you ult, you can actually one-shot through support those, because your explosive arrows hit every single clone. Yes, so you can do that as well, right?
Can you say that one more time? What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
I think I heard you right.
Yesterday, I was talking to a friend and we tested out. You can one-shot 250 HP targets instantly without any damage boost or anything through support those on Hawkeye by changing to explosive arrows, ulting, or you can ult beforehand, and you can hit every single clone left behind with your explosive arrows, and you kill them instantly.
Gross.
I need to try that later. Sorry.
Yes, so you can do that. So there's so many options for the good players, and I feel like it's really cool to learn them. Like Flats had the reaction right now, and it's like, whoa, this actually works. This is insane, right? So especially if you play with your team, if you focus the same target, if you get damage boosted, it promotes team play to deal with this issue, and it feels fun. It feels fun to do it. It feels fun when Andrew says damage boost me now and kills everyone in the backline through 5 support ults. It feels fun when I strange ult and I get damage boost and I kill everyone through support ults. It feels fun when the more calls, oh, I'm gonna ult, damage boost me, boom, instantly everyone's dead. And then they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna ult me. I need to bubble my supports, right? Like with the Magneto thing, it is fun. It's fun, right? It's a fun back and forward. There people started figuring out mag ult insta kills through support ults. Okay, we're gonna bubble. Then the mag is gonna try to bait the bubble. Then we're gonna try to save it. And there's like a lot of depth. It reminds me of old school Overwatch in a way. Because right now I feel like it's a lot more standardized. I'm not gonna talk about Overwatch, but back in the day, we used to be like that. It felt like that. Like Reinhardt my favorite example is Reinhardt versus Cassidy. The flashbang back in the day would go back and forward. You'd be like, oh, I'm going to flash over the shield and we're going to shatter. And then they're going to be like, oh, I'm actually going to go up with the shield. And then the flashbang, the Cassidy's going to be, I'm going to flash under the shield. And it's like, oh, I'm actually going to mind game him now. And then it's like, it's fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Something
exactly.
my team was talking about to just kind of like, I don't know, join up on how intricate the game is right now is there's like a lot of mind games between like the Groot having ult and like the Mag also having ult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of like Mags will like use their shield and they'll be like, haha, you can't ult, I have my shield up. But then no, okay, the Groot is gonna probably right after my shield drops throw his ult, right? So it doesn't get eaten. So then they'll just Mag ult immediately to eat the ult. But now Groot players are like, oh well, I know you're gonna ult as soon as you drop your shield, so now I'm gonna hold my ult. So there's like a lot of like these like mind games going back and forth. It's so interesting, it's so fun.
It
And
reminds me of Goats with Diva eating the Zarya
yes,
graph, right? It's
exactly.
cool. It's cool.
All of like our scrims just feel like goats.
Yeah,
Like
so it's
just
and
all
you
of
are
it.
not even playing goats. You know, you do
No.
play goats. I know you guys sometimes play triple tag, but you know it's not a broken composition, right? So you can play it or not, and it still feels like there's a lot of back and forward. And I think that's cool. And in a way, maybe if we focus on nerfing everything, we just remove that and we sanitize the game, right? So maybe I don't know. I did hate the Luna Snow stuff. I did hate the immortality of support loads, but there's counters, man. There's ways to counter. Even like simple things like Punisher with Rocket Ult, Punisher Ult with Rocket Ult, you can kill through support loads easily, right? So if
Right.
you have the team coordination, which you won't have in bronze, but if you do learn to do it or play with your stack, it feels good.
Yep.
Okay, what I'm hearing is a summary of that, Bogur. You're saying some more support ults that are big circles and don't
Yes,
nerf ghosts.
make them
That was a
triangles, make them
mistake.
triangles,
It's a
make them
mistake to
triangles,
nerf ghosts.
make them triangles, make them triangles. I'm saying that
Goats,
goats,
the best.
for
Goats
all
awesome,
of its
never
bad
nerf.
It
things,
always comes
no,
back to goats.
for all of the bad things goats had, it did add a lot of team play, and it was fun for pro play. But that might be a mistake because it might be less fun for casuals. But that's a little another debate for another time. Go ahead.
It is crazy. Like, I don't. Again, we're not going to get into Overwatch, but it's crazy to think that like this entire game of Overwatch essentially became characterized by goats. Like goats was the breaking point of Overwatch in like one way or the other, right? It's like either it was the thing that people most nostalgize, or you could also look at it and say this is the thing that quote unquote ruined Overwatch. Like it never was the same, and the fear of recreating goats has like possessed Overwatch for the rest of time. Like we can't remake a goats now. We have to like make sure we don't do another thing that makes a goats. Just a random thought.
They're
It's
literally
actually
doing that right now.
yeah. I think
66
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's really funny because you mentioned, because I talked to a bunch of streamers and they're like, yeah, I used to play Overwatch until they added goats. You know, so like it will alienate a big portion of your player base if you go that way, right? Because people do want to go in and have fun. And if you have a dominant comp like that, it's like so annoying. But that's the thing. We have fucking bans. And it's the best thing in the game. Thank God for bans, bro. I'm so happy they actually added bans day one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, actually, while we're there, let's just quickly round off as well the format. And if you guys are happy with like the by and large format of the game, 6v6, open queue, hero bans, is it, you know, I've seen people start to ask for role queue, but that's kind of inevitable. But are you guys overall happy? Flats, I'll take it to you first. You think this is the right format from our rivals?
Yeah. I think that's what I mentioned. I was going to make a video like rivals players yearn for Overwatch type of thing. And I have like 50 posts lined up. I have like so much evidence for this damn thing, but like I'm just too lazy. I don't know if I want to do it actually. But like, God, every turn, like, you know, from original, like, hey, I was there. I remember when the game dropped, people were talking about the monetization and how good it was of Rivals. Like, motherfucker, that's the exact same thing as Overwatch. Is the only difference is you get a highlight or you get the MVP animation, but you know what? You can't use that on every character, so it's only tied to that one skin, which is why it's in that bundle. Otherwise, it's the exact same price. What the fuck are you talking about? And then talking about role queues, like everyone wants role queue. You don't get tanks in your games. You have too many support players. You have too many DPS players. I'm like, wait a minute, hang on, wait a second. We did this before. We talked about role queue and having, because the whole reason role queue was a thing was one, because of goats, and two, because you know people got tired of getting a game where you get 4 insta lock DPS or 5 insta lock DPS, and then there was the during Moth meta where you'd have like one tank, 4 DPS, one mercy, or the standoffs where it's like, well, if we don't have mercy, we lose. So everyone just sits there and looks at each other like, someone has picked mercy, so who's gonna do it? Who gets bullied onto the mercy roll this game?
Mm-hmm.
And so same thing happens kind of in Rivals. Like someone gets bullied onto tank, right? It's like, oh, dude, we're running triple DPS, we're running solo tank. Hey, the guy that's 6 and 9, can you go tank? Just play a tank. Like it's like, oh, I don't really play tank. Oh, well, then just pick Magneto and stand there. It'll be fine. Or pick Strange and hold your shield. It's like someone gets bullied into it and they don't like that. So it's like, oh, what if I had a role queue? Then I could queue in on that. I could just play what I want to play. Well, hang on, that's a lot like another game. And then you talk about like pro play, right? Like the development of pro play, and it's like, oh, I want this game to stay casual. Like pros are gonna ruin it, like another game. Like what game are you talking about? What game are you referencing in that one? Hang on. And it's just like, it's so strange. It's so strange to see so many. Then the Bogur's casual quick play. You should take quick play seriously. Quick play should be, somewhere where you're playing just the same as ranked. It's like, hey, hold up now, hang on. I remember a game that people wanted that to be like that in, and like they even developed a system where if you leave too many games, you get banned, so you don't leave too many quick play games. Hold up, what game did that? And it's just, I don't know. It's very funny to me, which is why, at least on rival stuff, I never really give too much feedback on like, oh, I think this character's too OP, you should nerf, or this character's too weak, you should buff. Because I am just an agent of chaos in Rivals. I'm here to enjoy the fucking show. And time again, I just watch it every single time. Just yearn for Overwatch. And it's funny as shit.
Yeah. It again, it is interesting seeing the same cycles play out over and over, and it's a demonstration, I think, that people are, as we said earlier, just never happy. Like whatever you choose, they'll always want the other option. They'll always long for the other option. There was like, but what if we didn't have hero bans? Or what if we didn't have open queue? What if we didn't have 6 players? Whatever, choose, you pick your
What
poison.
if we
There's
remove
always someone.
everything good about Marvel Rivals? What if we today remove everything?
I mean, that's the tension that every game goes through, right? It's like whatever decision you make, there's a section of the community that want it the other way. So,
Go
but
play
are
another
you guys
game.
happy? Aramori,
Yeah,
are you
I'm
happy
happy.
with the format? Bogur's happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't want role queue at all. I like the system that rewards the flexible player. I do feel like my teammates, I'm pretty much the only one on my team that will only play strategist. And a lot of my teammates have hit rank 1, and their rank 1 game, my support duo had to go and play Namor and then maybe Magneto, right? And these like top 10 games. And I think that's really interesting and also just valuable, right? Because if you go into a game and you've got 3 DPS, like y'all were saying, right? Like if you're a good Magneto and maybe the other team is also having to flex one of their 3 DPS players onto tank, right? That rewards you. So I like the system that rewards the flexible player. I have no problem with being able to. Well, I'm also maybe a cheese ball, so like at the start of games, I'll make sure to give my mag which shield or which sword and stuff, and rocket packs at the start of every game,
Yes.
right? So I also like the freedom to do that, and then also something I missed desperately from Overwatch is like you're sitting in spawn, you're getting spawn camps. Okay, I'm going Widow. Like
Oh my
I'm
god, I
swapping from Ana to
agree.
Widow.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna interject for a bit. When I played Overwatch for a bit after playing Rivals for so many months, the amount of times I'll be playing tank and I'll be like, okay, we're getting rolled. I'm gonna go DPS for a bit, and I couldn't. It felt so bad. It felt so bad every single time. And actually, like,
Yep.
even when I play with streamers, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go support here, guys. You're struggling playing support. We can swap. Oh, we can't. And it's like, I feel like
It's
it's such an
so bad.
integral part of Rivals. Like even the people I play with, Andrew, he's just a really good DPS player and a good tank player. So if we don't have DPS, he goes DPS and I solo tank, and it works great. It works wonders, right? So I think it's good.
Yeah, you have a
Do you
lot more
think? Do you think?
options on what you can do in game to change the outcome. Whereas like Overwatch, it's like play your hero and hope you win. Do
Exactly.
your best.
Exactly.
Yep.
Do you think it will sustain? This is a question to all of you, but like, do you think it will sustain? Because obviously the reason Overwatch went role queue was a practical reason, right? It wasn't a philosophical reason. It wasn't they necessarily thought this is what we should do. It was just that they felt like we just don't have enough tank players, and people are getting pissed off that like most games are for DPS. Do you think that that sentiment will override, or has Overwatch already done the work for Marvel Rivals in some way, where it's already given people like a warning of like, hey, be careful what you wish for, because then we're down a path you can never go back on. How do you feel? Aramori, take it to you first.
Yeah, so I actually think that Rivals kind of has this surplus of tank players that I don't remember having in Overwatch, where like a lot of the games in Eternity, I'll just like queue in and have 4 tank players, and then it'll be like the
Same.
tank players having to go like strategist or DPS. And I think a big reason for that is the tanks are fucking fun. They're so fun, and there's so much carry potential, right? Like Mag, you just hit your left click, right click combo, you can one shot a support, right? Or, you know, your ult is almost like a support ult on Mag, sucks
Strange
up all the
portal.
bullets. Portal's also really fun, right? But also Mag ult, you could just drop it, kill 3 people, right? Like you have huge carry potential on these tanks. And they're just fun to play. They're satisfying and fun to play, and they're pretty unique, right? And so I think in that way, Rivals is completely different from Overwatch, where there was maybe like, okay, I didn't play a lot of tanks. I played mostly D.Va Zarya, and that was it. I got to like 4200 Overwatch 1 playing D.Va Zarya as like a 2-trick. And because they were the only fun tanks for me. And then if I had to play Ryan, I was crying. Ryan made me so sad inside. I did not like hitting people with a big hammer. I'm sorry, Flats.
He's flaming you. He muted himself. just
He's
flamed
telling he
you, I
muted
know.
himself to tell his chat.
He's
to be
like, chat. Who the
this
fuck is this
motherfucking
person?
support player. This
Who
fucking
is
support
this?
player.
No, it's,
Sorry.
it's actually way harder than people realize, and it's
Too hard. I
know.
don't want to play that.
It's pain. It's actually just painful at this point.
What are you talking about? Playing tank? Or like, what is painful?
Oh, we're talking about playing Ryan in Overwatch.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Right, but
Yeah.
to your original point, Armor, you kind of feel like actually they've got the balance right of like each role is fun enough.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think. No, I disagree. I think support is not fun enough. I think I will
Okay,
be honest.
It's Loki's band.
Okay,
Loki's band support is sad.
You have a few fun supports, but like Loki and Adam, and maybe Mantis, because you go around with everything else. I mean, Visible Woman can have funny things, but like I feel like half the characters are just like, right?
Yeah.
So do you see
But
that as being
in
a
that
problem
way,
long
Vanguard
term?
is very fun.
Yeah, I think it's a problem. I know about what Aramori thinks.
I
No,
think,
yeah, I was talking about you, but go ahead, Armory, go ahead, chime in.
yeah, I was gonna say I think it is like a little bit of a problem, but it the thing about like strategists is it's so easy to just like pick up and play, even if you're in a game with 5 other DPS and tank players, like one of them can just play Rocket Raccoon at the like basic level, or like Luna, right? Like it's not like a strategist player having to play like Groot or something, right? Like that seems much harder.
Yeah. But I agree with Aramori. I think tank in Rivals is fun. Some people disagree. I know Pilo thinks tank is fucking boring in this game, right? So I've talked with him about it. He thinks it's really boring. But I think it's just like a different mentality to tank approach. I feel like in Rivals, you are a tank and it's scary to push a tank unless you're playing Wolverine. And you're not really lethal unless they're in your lethal range or like you do pull off a combo. And Overwatch, I swear to God, every tank is just a DPS with more HP. And that's why I really did not have fun playing tank in the last like 2 or 3 years. It's just genuinely... It's so like it just feels like I'm playing DPS and I don't want to play DPS. I don't want to play DPS, bro. I just want to play tank. That's why I actually really like tank in Marvel Rivals. I think I almost have 5 lords on tank. I just like all of the tanks except like the bad ones, the Penny and Cap, right? But it's just so much more fun because I am creating space. I'm living. I am super scary. But I'm also really weak if they play better positioning and they keep their distance. If I jump a Hela and I'm not prepared and she's good, I will die. And I'm getting punished for my mistakes, but she will get punished for her mistakes if she pushes into my range. It just feels good. And when I ult, it feels really good because if I hit a big mag ult, I'm like, oh, they do fear Magneto, don't they? And it's like, right? And like a big strange ult or a big TP, and you're like, oh, you know, the testosterone just like flows out of you. You're like, yes, you know, it's so good, right? So I like tank.
You have angers the pennies, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice job.
There's one penny player in all of top 500. I don't know if they're top 500 even right now, but L Penny players, L Cap players. You know what? L Scarlet Witch players. I said it. Okay. Anyways,
Wow.
I digress.
Flats, how about you? Do you think that this is sustainable, like the open queue format? Do you think it'll last?
So I have a different, maybe more optimistic take of that. Is I think gaming has changed quite significantly since 2018 Overwatch, right? 2017, 2018, role queue was something that a lot of people wanted because like people would just pick a bunch of DPS every game and you just lose. People are competitive about gaming now, like way more so, especially like post Fortnite, post pandemic, or like during pandemic, then post pandemic. Um, People are just like always want to win, right? Like I think more flaming happens now about people playing bad than just like slurs. You know what I mean? Like obviously that's a random person who wants to say some dumb shit, but like most of the time when people get mad now, it's not because they just want to say dumb shit. It's because they're pissed they're losing. And so because they're pissed they're losing, they're trying their best, right? And how do you try your best? Like you play characters you're good at. And then if like those scenarios where like shit, like I can't play the character I'm good at here because like we don't have a support, right? Like they'll play support. And I think people are much more willing to flex today than they were 5, 6, 7 years ago. And almost the social pressure actually is what forces it. And you know, it's funny. I've adapted a new strat with Emon in early rivals where if we got a game where like 3 or 4 people insta lock DPS and like we were hovering like tank and support, we're like, fuck it, let's join them. So we just immediately swap DPS and we all sit in DPS and spawn and be like, sup? And then like you wait for one other person to swap. And if like one person swaps, then we'll swap. And it's like, okay, now we're swapping, right? And then at that case, you get like a 1-3-2, right? And it's like, okay, that's winnable, right? But you know, those games where you load in and everyone just plays dumb shit. It's like, all right, I'll join you. Fuck it. We're all in. Let's all play dumb shit. Someone in that lobby is gonna crack and they're like, ooh, I don't want to throw this game. Like I do kind of want to win, so I'll do this thing, even though I really wanted to play Spider-Man. I'll play some Luna. Because I'd rather win my points go up than losing. And I think that's different. I think it's a little different than it was years ago. So I'm cautiously optimistic that actually people are just more competitive these days and they want to win and they want to see the funny numbers go up, and that will force them to flex more than in the past. And I think it will work and continue to work.
Yeah, and like maybe there's like a different cultural attitude as well, right? Like I can imagine that like Overwatch, it was like maybe suffering from success, DJ Khaled, but it's like it made such a good job of making people like a certain character. Like you really wanted to be Genji, you really wanted to be Diva or whoever, right? And so like it kind of encouraged one tricking. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen that same level of like obsession with like a character in Marvel Rivals that I saw in Overwatch, right? Like people aren't
Rocket.
building their entire identities, maybe other than Rocket Raccoon on the side, but I don't see people building their identity around a certain character as much as I saw in Overwatch. Plus, maybe the culture of bans automatically from the go encourages people to like be flexible in general, right? Like if you have bans
flexibility
in the
is so
start,
important. It's so
It
important.
is.
I'm sorry, yeah.
no, yeah, exactly. So like there's as Flats is saying, like it's hard to pin down. Like maybe there's a general gaming culture shift, maybe there's a cultural shift because of these factors as well in Marvel Rivals, but it sounds like maybe the culture is different, which makes it a little bit easier. So, any more thoughts from you guys on just like the
I was just gonna
format?
say flexing is just so important in this game. There's like barely any one trick. Nobody's a one trick. Nobody's a one trick in high elo. Like it's impossible. So like even Necros doesn't fucking play only Spider-Man. It's just impossible. So inherently you're forced to swap off, and inherently you're forced to learn new characters or characters in different roles, which inherently just makes the game better. And I think it's just it's really good, because in the beginning people are like, oh, you know, he's gonna punish one tricking or whatever. It's like, no, it just makes the game better. You have to be flexible and you get rewarded for being flexible. The highest ranked players are so flexible, they can play anything. And like, you don't have to be the best at that character, you just need to know how the game works. You need to know the basics, and you need to have like decent mechanics and just play with your team, and you just win like just by picking the right character at the right time. And it's fun. I don't know, it's fun. You know, like you're getting rolled on tank, or you need a support, or you decide to go triple support, or maybe you decide to go triple tank or whatever else. It's like you just get rewarded for being good at the game.
Well, that sounds like a healthy way to be. So,
Yes.
all right, let's bring it over then. You're talking about the highest ranked players. We'll talk about the highest of the high. Let's talk about the pro scene of Marvel Rivals, because that's another thing that we've seen a lot of happen in like other games, in Overwatch, in Valorant, in Apex. Like their pro scenes have been hit or miss. Let's just put it that way. So it's still early days, but how do we think the pro scene of Marvel Rivals is forming, and do we see any let's say long-term potential in it? Like, can it be a real behemoth of an esport in the way some of these other ones are? We'll take it to Aramori first. Aramori, your experiences of the pro scene and how you rate it. But while you do that, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick and then carry on.
Okay. So I will say, just from like the get-go, just don't talk about compositions, don't talk about orgs getting involved, don't talk about anything. NetEase on like a very, very basic level is just like opening their wallet for like the pro scene. Like they are very committed to making it work. So, I mean, they did an invitational back in December, 4 teams for like 50K, just to like show up and like play basically. And then the MRC, which is like the in-game tournament that they've been putting on. The first one was, I think it was 14K, and then this one's 16K or something around that. Maybe it's also 14K, I'm not sure. And then this past invitational was 100K total. That just finished up this weekend, and that was just in North America, right? Like that's not even considering the 100K in Europe and the 100K in like Asia and Oceanic as well. So just from like the get-go, like without even talking about like orgs or anything like that, it just seems like NetEase just wants this to happen. They're just like, here's a bunch of freaking money, let's see what happens. And I don't know if that's like sustainable long term, but it at least shows me that like, hey, they like are really passionate about making Marvel Rivals an esport just from the dev, like straight up. And I think that's very different than what we've seen from another dev company. That's they kind of like happened upon the esport and then said, okay, let's get involved with that, right? Let's see what we can do. And then that's a whole other can of worms that I won't even like get into. But I do know like some big things are going to be announced very soon that is exciting, and I can't say anything about. But I'm very, very optimistic of the future of Marvel Rivals esports. And also I do know that lots of big names are still coming in, and obviously like I'm on Sentinels, and 100 Thieves is in the scene, and we have Envy coming back from the grave to like come and play as well. The whole scene is just very exciting. It's very, very new. Each team kind of has like its own identity, and I don't know. There's so much to like talk about in terms of like the pro scene. I could talk about it for 3 hours just on its own, right? But I'm excited to hear you guys' thoughts too.
Guys, get ready for Marvel Rivals League. Brand new idea.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say it's
And
really
even
fun
brought
to.
back a retirement home. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's great. Awesome. I was gonna say it's really good to play. I think it's really. I think the game on a competitive level is really fun to play. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of layers, like an onion. But I think the problem is it's so hard to watch. I will be honest with you. It's like so hard to watch. I
Yeah.
was watching some games first. Twitch bitrate is ass, so you gotta watch it on YouTube because like it's just so many things happening. Everything is so like hard to follow with Twitch's bitrate. So you need higher bitrate. So you gotta watch on YouTube. Second of all, it's just like a mess half the time. Like what's going on the screen because it is a hero shooter. Like I think the main issue is that like it just tries to follow too many people at once and too many things. And if you take the game from that perspective, it's really hard to follow. Um, when you play the game, you don't see everybody's perspective, so it's a lot easier to follow and understand what's going on. But you can't just follow one player the entire time because then nobody else gets the showcase. So it's just really hard to watch. So I know how they can even solve it because I think Overwatch had the same issue back in the day. It's just and even now, like it's just so hard to follow everything that is going on, especially with every ability being so flashy and like it's just like I think a good esports and like CS and stuff, it's just like determined by like if I show this to my parents, they're gonna be like, "Fuck yeah, I know what's going on." And I feel like Rivals is never gonna reach that, or Overwatch
Yeah.
either. And they need to like they really need to sit down in the lab and just cook like for a solution in some way. I was thinking about like having like a mini map of sorts when watching pro play. Like it's just like something that shows where everybody's positioned at all times. Because again, if you just watch somebody's POV and keep swapping, it's really hard to follow. So if you had something constant that you kept seeing, that you can understand where everybody's playing at all times, like no matter if they're behind or forward, and if they're stunned or dying, or they're like in a MOBA like Dota or something, right? That would really help with the readability of the game. But as I said, I think it's fun to play. It's
Yeah.
extremely hard to watch, though, I feel like.
Aramori, did you have something to chime in, or should we take it to Flats?
Yeah, I don't want to like take
No, go
away
ahead. This
Flats'
is,
turn or anything.
absolutely it's your domain. Go ahead.
I actually think you're totally right on terms of like it's hard to watch, and obviously Overwatch does have that problem. Rocket League, CS, Valorant, Valorant not as much so now, but definitely when it first came out was very like you could sit, you could watch, it's very slow, you could kind of understand what's going on. Rocket League's just, soccer
Yeah.
with cars, right? So it's very easy to just watch. But then I get really confused because I'm not a League player, but like League is like one of the best esports in the
But
world, and it's
and
like
Dota
I
too,
can't watch
right?
that.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing is, it's had a decade or more of developing people, like developing the player base to understand. Like, there's so many people that understand MOBAs at this point. They've kind of like brainwashed people into like loving it, and that is good. But like, we need. Are you gonna wait a decade, Aramori, before Marvel
No.
Rivals? Yeah, exactly. So it takes a lot of time for games like these.
This is somewhere where I feel like I could chime in because for those wondering what I have been doing with my several time off, I've been obsessed with Dota a little bit. Like I've been playing a lot of Dota. Got into I'm nearly at Immortal, and I've been watching like all the pro games I can watch. And I've been thinking like, why is Dota such a good why Dota and League? Why are they so popular as esports? I think it comes down to two things. I think they're exactly one thing that Bogur said is 100% true. We've talked about it in the previous podcast as well. That like just the following of MOBAs is like so much more long established. Like people just know MOBAs for a much longer time. So even if you have like very barely played League, you can kind of understand the mechanisms of MOBAs, and there's just a bigger pool of people who watch MOBAs. So there's that. But also I think something that is important to an esport, and that's why like CS:GO and like to some extent Valorant were easier to watch as well. You need downtime. You need like what I would call like a setup and a payoff. Like this is maybe you can go back to like this idea of storytelling, right? You need time for the casters to set up what's going to happen, and then the payoff happens when that thing inevitably happens or something surprises you, right? So it's like you need time for the casters to be like, okay, coming into this next round, let's say it's CS:GO, right? It's coming into this next round. Okay, this guy's positioning here, this guy's positioning here. We inevitably imagine that they're going to kind of confront around here, and then one of them's going to make a play, and then something's going to happen, and then that happens. Like, oh, bam, this guy popped off, he got 2, we didn't expect him to get 2. Similarly, in like a MOBA, like with Dota, a lot of it is just downtime. A lot of it is just people hitting creeps so that the commentators can be like, okay, so this hero, he needs to do this, she needs to do that. In this next fight, we need to see if this guy's going to do this or not. What's he going to do? And then they do it. And then you're able to, again, reflect on what happened. You're like, oh shit, that was a hype fight. I know 10 things happened, but let's break it down. Okay, in that fight, we can get the replay. This guy did this guy did that. That's why this went that way. I feel like the problem with like Overwatch, with Marvel Rivals, with some extent like
So fast.
now Valorant, everything is fast, everything is constant, and it's really hard to like parse in the moment. And by the time, like, firstly, the casters don't have time to set a lot of stuff up because people are poking each other all the time, right? So there's always like, someone's always doing something, someone's always threatening to like get a kill or something. And then once the big fight happens, it's like 10 seconds before they're back at it again, before they're like out of spawn, they're doing it all over again. How long do you really have to be like, oh shit, okay, so like of the 20 particle effects that were taking place, this is the really important one, this one that did this and that one. There's just no time. There's just no time. It's just too much happening all the time. I don't know if there's a fix to that, but I think that is the secret behind what makes an esport viewable is like A, simplicity, which is what CS and stuff have, or downtime to like set up and establish what's going to happen. So my thoughts, but
I also think I was gonna say for the MOBA, I think it's also really helps the fact that it's like from a up, it's not third person. I know how like top down perspective,
Top
right?
down,
Because you
yeah.
can see everything at all
Yes.
times. Like if it's a fight is going on, you can see such a big chunk of the map, and from such a good like perspective, it's really easy. Like it's hard to read if you don't know the game, but I know Rivals, and it's hard to read what's going on in a pro match, right? So It's just like from
Yeah.
that perspective, it's just so much easier to understand what is going on.
I
So that
have
yeah.
I have seen like the observers like take it like top down to like kind of
It's
give
just
you
weird. It
that
looks weird,
like
no?
it's so hard to understand. Like I don't even understand it, and I play the game professionally, right? Like it's so much easier because it's not how you're meant to view the game. Whereas like okay, if you're watching League like that's how you view League as like a player. So it's just yeah, it is very very hard to watch in that way. And then also, how do you explain in like 20 seconds, hey, they have 4 ults and this is what they're going to try and do with these ults, and we have to watch for this combo, and we have to see if, you know, this person on the other team is going to use this ability to stop the combo. So I could definitely see how that's very confusing, and yeah, it's tough. I don't know what the answer for that is at all. I don't even know if there is an answer.
Yeah, it's hard because you kind of have to bake this into the development of the game, right? If you want it to be an esport, you have to kind of do that think about this from the go. Because like even League and Dota are very complicated to view sometimes. Even as again someone who's like plays a lot of Dota, sometimes fights occur and there's just like because there's like loads of little things happening in different, like you can't fit it all in one screen, right? It's like there's a guy at the edge of this part doing this, there's 2 people do. So you need I feel like you need the time, you need to be able to stop and look back. Flats, I haven't heard from you yet, so I'm curious as to how you view the esports scene, both in its like health, but also this issue that we're discussing. Will it be like a stumbling block in the long term?
So how you could potentially fix this issue, right? Is like, what if you created a pass, right, where
I
you
was gonna
could
say that.
watch people's individual
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
perspectives,
I was gonna say that.
and you
It
could
was so
choose which
good.
players you wanted to watch.
It was so
as the
good.
game went on, and you
I
could
was
still hear the casters, but you would be locked on one person's POV the entire time, and you could swap to anyone else at any other given time if you so chose.
Why did they
Is
ever
it
stop doing that?
because they hate
because they went to
money.
YouTube? No, they went to YouTube.
Oh, they like
Okay.
money. No,
It's the opposite.
the opposite. Yeah,
It's the
my bad.
opposite. Because YouTube threw them like 200 million, and Twitch said we're not going to give you anything. So, yeah, that's exactly actually why. But, I mean, realistically, that actually did a lot of good.
It was so
when
good.
they did it, because
It was so good.
it helped. You know what? It really. You know what? Like at the end of the day, people love to watch esports because it's fun and like storylines. But like they're like when you first get this person into watching an esport, like 90% of the time, maybe 80% of the time, they watch because they're like, how do I get good at this game? Like, what do these guys do that
Yeah.
I don't do? And it's like the best way to relate it to myself with this is like if I ever talk to someone who doesn't watch streaming or doesn't watch gaming or anything like that, and they're like, "What do you do?" You know, the awkward conversation. We all know if you had it before. And it's like, oh, like they just watch you play games, and it's like, oh, and like the first thing they always will come up with is, oh, they want to learn, right? Same thing happens when the beginning of the esports pipeline, and you guys are all right with everything you've said. The bitrate is fucking ass. I don't know if they'll ever be able to fix it, but it's like the readability of the game is borderline impossible. When I had to do some like watching the invitational stuff, there was times where I just said there's just a lot of rivaling happening right now.
Yeah.
That's just it. Like it's like
impossible.
tell us what's
Holy
happening in the
moly,
fight. Couldn't
rivals.
tell you. There's like 6 ults going off. Nobody's gonna die though, because both Luna ults are up. So like fuck all. Like nothing's gonna happen. They're all just gonna look at each other for a while and smile. But that's just kind of the way it is. And so that is like a developer side thing. Like I don't know if they can like, because like the game also doesn't run that great. Like let's all like be honest here.
What
Run.
drama?
That's something we haven't even talked about really, is like it doesn't
Yeah, I was
run
gonna
very
bring that up.
and then you put that into streaming it, right? Like I have a fucking NASA PC over here, and like running a YouTube stream and a Twitch stream. Like I hate the way my VODs look. They look like shit. Like they're not. It's not impossibly bad, right? Like there's some people that can't even stream the game because it's so bad. But like my own personal like standard of quality is like not. I wish it looked better. I've even like, oh, like, is getting another PC going to help? Probably not. But that kind of stuff is going to help readability. But like at least for getting them into it, I think being able to watch just like one person's POV the entire time. And like, what if somebody just like only wants to watch because they're an Aramori fan? They only want to watch Aramori. They don't give a
That's
fuck
me.
about anybody else. They want to watch your
Me.
POV.
SK.
Right? Like, this happens in Apex, and
I
why
love my
Apex, in
life.
my opinion, is one of the best esports out there for especially a high, fast-paced esport. Like ALGS is top tier, and it's like because you can go watch your favorite streamer's POV like at all times, and like they have like a website built where you can have like a bunch of tabs and you can flip through everyone's POV at all different times. And yeah, there's the main broadcast, but like you can see everyone else at anytime, and you can hear their comms too. That's another big one. I'd love to be able to hear comms. I know why they're scared shitless of having it, but I don't think that means they shouldn't have it. And especially if you put it like behind some type of like all access thing, like that's how you fund the stuff for the future. Because right now, like you were talking earlier, is like a lot of money's been floating in. That is like that's going to prop it up in the beginning, and that needs to happen,
Yeah.
right? Because like otherwise, like you're not going to get people that are going to invest. You're gonna have an Overwatch situation where like the best they're gonna pay is like $500 a player, and it's like then you're gonna have like poverty esport, and like nobody wants to watch it because it's not that high quality, and nobody wants to play in it because like who wants to work an entire month for half a loaf of bread? Like that just sounds like ass. And scrim 9 hours a day and lose your fucking mind. So like a lot of this stuff is very, very complicated. At least that's something that like gives a better viewer experience, gets people in the door. And obviously I don't know what like all these big plans that they could be coming up with, but like at least I can speculate, because I don't know anything. But like speculating, it's like, you know, I think the in-game tournament is the greatest gateway they could have done, and it gives someone like me who is not going to play pro. Like I don't want to play pro. Like I have no more aspirations for that. Like I do the thing the pro players do when they retire. Like I'm already at the end game. Like I don't. We're good. But I can go and play in the in-game tournament, and it's fun content for me, and I get to challenge myself against better players. And like even if you're not that good at the game, you can still hop in. And like let's say you're like a plat player and you play with your friend group and you guys think you're hot shit in plat, but you just don't get that much time. And then you bump into some celestial team, get fucking walked, and you're like, whoa, these players are fucking insane. Sometimes that actually kicks in the competitive side where then they want to play more. They're like, oh, hang on, like I don't like getting my ass beat like that. Fuck that. I ain't doing that no more. And so they end up actually becoming maybe like more addicted to wanting to play. And then also with the in-game tournaments, like I'm assuming like more orgs will come in eventually if like, you know, they're putting up the money for it. Like orgs like money and they want to get into an esport. Why the fuck not? This gives a chance for maybe more unknown teams or more unknown players in the future to have a chance. Because like if you just hop into the Marvel Rivals in-game tournament and you win the whole thing, everyone's gonna go, whoa, how the fuck did you guys win? Who are you? And it gets like it gets like a almost like an ecosystem, like a grassroots ecosystem going, while also supporting top level play with your tournaments, the invitationals for orgs, stuff like that. And all of these are very good and smart decisions. Like they are, in my opinion, doing everything right, but it's very expensive. So like, how long is it going to sustain?
Mm-hmm.
The way I think of it is however good the game sustains. Small note, apparently Rivals is not that big in Asia. Did not take off.
Nope.
Like it did in NA and EU. So I would expect them to invest really heavily in NA and maybe EU as well in the future. But if Rivals, you know, starts to not sell as many skins and starts to dry up, that's when things get spooky. So it's like I could see them really going hard right now while things are very, very good, see if they can get it off the ground, and going. But you know, in a few years from now, I don't know. We'll see. Like esports is a very, very, very tough business to run, and I think games like League of Legends do it correctly because they run it as a marketing expense, not as a profit expense or something to make money off of. The orgs want to make money, but the actual game, if they treat it as a marketing tool, that can always be very, very smart. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic actually about the esports side of it. I think that they can do very well. They just need to fix the viewing experience.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on that, like very few esports are actually profitable. I don't know if any are actually profitable in the sense that like, does the esports itself make money? Do the orgs make a lot of money? Like very, very small number of, like League has had its problems, Dota has had its problems with like prize pools and stuff. So it is tough, but you're right that like, if you use it as part of an ecosystem, it's like we're just investing in the game, like keeping the hype of the game going, keeping the interest around the game, and you take that attitude, it's going to be a lot healthier. But yeah, I also think that they should, like, not being a global, like you want to be big in Asia, like you want to be for the health of everything, but especially your esport, like a lot of these other big esports, they're big globally. They're not just like Europe, North America. So that's another thing Marvel Rivals, I'm sure they'll want to because they're Chinese developers. They will want to crack Asia, but yeah. Bogur.
I was gonna say, I mean, one of the main reasons why Dota got a lot more popular is because of the international and the huge millions of prize pool, like back in
Yes.
the day. Because that was the first time that ever happened. People were like, whoa. And then Fortnite blew up a lot more after they started throwing out millions for like pro stuff. And then it created a bunch of streamers and content creators that kept promoting the game for free. So like, and League with the production of their like worlds and stuff, and just like inviting big ass artists to make music for it. It's just insane amounts of like advertisement. So it's just an advertisement expense, like flat set. And I feel like if you try to make it profitable, because why do people, when people watch a like Valorant or CS, like if I watch a good CS player and I watch a tournament, like damn, this is fun. I want to play the game right now. I'm gonna go play the game, and might buy a few cases, or like same with back in the day with Overwatch when I used to watch Overwatch, like me watching like Bumper do silly stuff and winning. That was fun. That was like, damn, I want to play Overwatch right now. So I agree with Flats. It is a marketing expense, and it's a good marketing expense that will make your game a lot more popular because people are gonna see it and they're gonna be like, damn, this game might not be so bad. Maybe I should go play some. And then they go play, and then they have a Scarlet Witch in their team, and they're like, oh, maybe I should not play today, right? So and I also think
Well, yeah,
that
like
Aramori
right.
got kidnapped.
She said she has to pee, so she's gonna be RB.
Oh,
But yeah, like I
abducted.
think that like it's like your big tournament is like a free year. I mean, not free, but it's a big yearly advertising. Like in the same way that like I don't watch American football, but every year the Super Bowl is going on. I know the Super
Yeah.
Bowl is going on, right? Like I hear about it. I'm half tempted to watch it. I never do because I'm like, fuck that shit. But you remember, you're reminded once a year that like, oh yeah, this thing exists. And same for like when the whatever the league thing is called, the Worlds happens, when the international happens. But again,
Worlds.
these things suffer. Like they're tied to cosmetics. Like the Dota prize pools were all tied to their battle pass compendium and the like cosmetics that you would sell, and they've suffered. There's been a whole drama in Dota recently where like the prize pool has gone down in the last few years and they're selling less cosmetics. So it's tough. Basically, it's tough. It's really hard. It's not something that like is easily replicatable. Like every game has to find its own path to actually make it profitable. But we'll bring it back to Aramori. Welcome back, Aramori.
Hello.
Are you optimistic, just to sort of put a pin in this topic, are you optimistic about the future of Marvel Rivals Esports?
Yeah, I think maybe I said it when you were peeing earlier, but yes, I'm very optimistic. I am a knower of some things for the future that is going to be announced, I think, within the next couple of weeks. Um, so yeah, I'm very optimistic of the future of Marvel Rivals Esports. At least for the next 6 months, I think we're golden. After that, if things don't catch, we're a little iffy. I'm not sure what's gonna go on there, but for the immediate future, I'm very, very optimistic. They're doing a lot of good things, and I'm excited. It's gonna be really, really fun.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we'll rush through now. We've got about 20 odd minutes left before Bogur has to get going, so we'll call that the end of the podcast. But Flats mentioned something that I wanted to bring up. I think I sent it to these guys as a part of the running order, the performance of the game. Because this is actually one of the biggest complaints I've seen in general. Like there's obviously going to be balance complaints and whatever other, miscellaneous complaints exist in a game. But I've seen a lot of people talk about how bad the game plays, essentially, in the sense that like there's crashes, there's frame rate issues, there's like just general performance related problems. So how do you guys view that? Like, do you think they're as bad as people say, worse,
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
And how do you see them work going in the future? So Bogur, go ahead.
Necros, when we were playing for the last week, he's been getting blue screens and crashes almost like every single day, like 5 times a day. I had
Oh my
a
God.
blue screen last week and a few crashes. People constantly like it happens so like it just happens too much, and it's just a Unreal Engine 5 moment. I'll be honest, but the game is just. I think one of the reasons why Overwatch really took off is because it just ran on everything back in the day, right? So like you always like even now if I run Overwatch on max, I'm gonna have like 200. I know I have a NASA PC, but like even like I would have 300, 400 FPS. I barely scratch 200 in Rivals on almost all minimum. It's insane, right? And it's so much worse if you have a bad PC. So I feel like that really takes away from a big player base, to be honest, because a lot of people don't have NASA PCs, right? So they can't really run the game. And if they run the game, they can't really compete at 60 FPS, right? So it's just like, it's just hogging so many resources. It's just like, they really need to work on that to really, like, I've had this complaint by so many people that are more casual, and they don't want to be playing a free-to-play game and just getting their computer overheating, like, for no reason. Because if you look at most free-to-play games, they all run. Like, all the popular ones. League, no problem. Run it. Run it on a potato. Run it on a fucking NVIDIA 980. It doesn't matter. Overwatch, even nowadays, it runs well. What else we have? CS. Oh my god, CS2 is much worse nowadays. But back in the day, CS:GO. Oh my god, I can run it on my grandparents' PC. You know, it's like it's very important for the popularity of a game. Maybe that's why it doesn't take off in so many regions. Because, for example, the reasons why, like, it's a different reason, but for example, the reason why Overwatch didn't take off in the Balkans is because you had to pay for it, right? So when you have a region that can't afford a certain, you know, prerequisite, like for example, either it being paid or having a good PC, you lose out on so many players. So I feel like it's just like they're losing players if they don't fix it and they don't work on it, and it's just so annoying to lose a game because you decede, and it happens so often. And again, like Flat said, we just have NASA PCs and it still happens to us. So I can't imagine if you just have a normal PC.
Yeah.
Flats?
I had a day
Start-
like
okay.
oh sorry. I had a day
No,
like
go.
2 weeks ago where there was 2 strange portals in the game and my game just froze and I just crashed. And I also have a NASA PC, so I was like, oh okay. Like
Yeah, it's unplayable if you have a normal PC. It's just unplayable.
yeah. Sorry.
No, absolutely chime in. I was just going to take it to Flats, but you know, we've very overrepresented NASA PCs in this call. I'm not sure mine qualifies. Mine's in the middle somewhere. Flats, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't even tell you, like, especially when I started playing Rambles, like I have a very large casual like TikTok kind of base, like, you know, and I love them for drops for the Overwatch so much because they just show up, leave their PC on and walk away, and it's fantastic. But when Rivals came out, a lot of people were coming out like, hey, is this game good? And then like you'd see the same people like, oh, I tried to play, but I can't. Like it just my PC just crashes constantly, it just doesn't work. And you know, then people like came up with like configs, like you come like you could put the configs in where make the game look horrible, but at least it was playable, right? And they didn't like that at all. They patched those out so quickly. Every time the one of those like popped up on Twitter and was like, hey, use this config and you can get around like the really bad FPS issues in the game. It makes the game playable, but it looks terrible. And so they obviously know about the issues. Then they had like the mode that they put in like high performance modes. So, like they've made some effort, but I feel like a lot of that stuff is going to take a long time probably to like actually fix. And it's also really difficult just because there's so many particle effects in a game like Rivals where like the buildings are exploding and falling apart and then rebuilding. Like there's so many things that they have to incorporate, and it is worrying. It is actually very, very worrying because that's the type of thing that makes a player never go back. I was actually watching a video this week from a finals creator, the finals, and they were like, why is our game not doing well? And they were talking about all these good things that they've done. And I remember when I was watching, I was like, oh, like I remember the reason why I didn't want to play the finals originally was like the balance was so horrible, like horrendous that like you just play a heavy and you just pick up a barrel and throw it at someone and they would instantly die. And that was like the whole meta. And it lasted like 6 months before they finally nerfed it. And even the comments on it, a lot of people are in my chat watching are like, oh yeah, like that's why I don't want to ever come back. That's long gone. They've more than fixed it. But it did such damage to the players like at the time that they just got sick of it and they were like, no, I'm not gonna ever go back. Even like I think that's the type of thing that would frustrate a player beyond wanting to return is performance. Like where especially a game like that's a hero shooter, right? Like hero shooters inherently over time the skill cap goes up like pretty quickly. And like as we alluded to earlier, that kind of needs to happen for the game to keep progressing. And nothing is worse than you take a 6-month break from a game, not because you even wanted to, because like you couldn't play it. And then you go back and you're so far behind everyone else that you're like, shit, I don't know if I actually know if I want to play this game that much outside of like maybe hop in, play like the new character when it comes out for a little bit and then leave. Right. And then if the character's not something that really resonates with you, you're gone even faster. So I don't actually know if that's like a super easy fix. Like it's super easy to fix something like Hella being too strong, right? It's super easy to fix like not doing the rank reset, right? Like they just turned it off. Good to go. But that's like an engine issue. Uh
hmm
I don't know. Like I'm obviously not a developer, so like that's way more technical and outside of my wheelhouse. But I think if there's anything that in the long term is why they'll probably focus more on NA is because like, I think it's not insane to say that NA probably has more gamers that have a higher income than other places in the world, and you're probably going to have a better PC or going to have a new gen console. Where if you're somewhere else in the world that isn't as wealthy, that you financially can't spend all that money on a brand new PC or all these big upgrades, when you could just go play another game that's a free to play and have no problem with it. So I don't know. I hope they fix it. I think I genuinely think that should be their number one priority. Like that is number one on the list for me.
Aramori, do you
Do we?
concur?
Yeah, 100%. Everything Flat said is 100%. Do we know if Rivals like crashes the same way as it does on PC as it does on console? I actually have
Oh, that's a good
no
question.
idea.
I don't know. But I think with Flat's point, I agree. I also think that over time, if the game survives and they keep optimizing it and they don't like add some fucking crazy stuff like you can go to outer space, right? They don't make it more resource heavy. PCs will get better, and on average, people will have better PCs that can now run the game on high FPS. But by that point, I don't fucking know what's gonna happen in 5 years, right? So, right
And
now,
Flats
it's
is
just
right in
really
that.
rough. Yeah.
Flats is right in that. Players, you don't want to really piss them off. Like it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm bored of this game. I'm gonna stop playing, or I've exhausted all the season's content or whatever. It's another thing to just for them to be like, this shit like busted my PC. This shit like overheated my GPU, whatever it does, right? Like when a game crashes your PC, I think that's like a really alarming thing for any gamer because they're gonna be like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore, and like
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to come back from. So, yeah, definitely one of
A lot of
the.
people are saying that console doesn't crash or like
Yeah,
barely
Okay.
crashes.
which is really interesting. I wonder why.
I think it's because they're locked into lower settings, like 60 FPS, lower
Follow up
settings.
question: are you old like PS4, Xbox One console gen, or are you new gen people that are mostly saying no? Like I'm curious if like PS4 slash Xbox One can those handle it? Actually, is it even playable on those? Oh, it's only new gen. So
Yeah.
old gen doesn't actually work. Interesting.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, that even furthers your point even more of like it being inaccessible to like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
really
different
That's
maybe
players.
crazy.
maybe this is the reason why it's not as popular in many like
It's
other
not even
countries.
top 10 on Steam in like South Korea, which is
Yeah.
if you
I mean
think about
South Korea has good PCs. So I feel like there might be other reasons.
Well, they
to
have
play
PC
there.
cafes that they would
yeah.
go to, so that's a different reason. Like the culture there would just be to go to a cafe which would have a PC that
Yeah.
could run Marvel Rivals. But that's a different. I think that's a
But that's
cultural
scary. I
knock
feel
taken
like
to the
you
game.
need South Korea for like a game to be really, really. I guess you don't need it, but like
Yeah.
it's pretty important, right?
I want to
Can
see
I-
Joe. I was gonna say go ahead, Flats. This is not important. Go.
Really quick, I went to the Overwatch Spotlight thing, and they brought in a lot of creators from Korea, and I got to speak with some of
I
them.
was there.
You were there. We were there. And
Did
they
they say they
told
hate
us like,
Marvel Rivals?
well, they were curious. They were like, so is Rivals as big in America? Is like you guys are like is it actually like good? Like what you guys are like so old, like so into it right now. It's like yeah, like it is. Like what about you guys? Like nobody gives a fuck. Like nobody cares. Like I was
Yeah.
like really like yeah, no one gives a shit. Like if anything, actually, like South Korea, like they don't give a shit. And China was much more excited for
hmm
Overwatch's return because it was happening around the
Mm.
same time, which is right now.
I think it's either gonna take some time or it's just not gonna happen. I know it's just so random sometimes, but they have their reasons. They don't care. It's good. It's big here though, so I think that I do want to see though. Speaking of China, I do want to. Is it popular in China? I feel like it's really popular in China now. This game. Or am I just like, or do people just
I
not
think
fuck with rivals in China?
I think it is more popular in China. I do know that like they are obviously it's NetEase, right? So they want their game to do well in their own country, right? Like that just makes sense. And they did like their own private Chinese beta. Did you
I
play
was
in that,
there.
Bogur? Yeah, I played
It
in that
was
too.
very complicated to make it happen, but I did make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean they ran that own like private beta for them and all that, but it's been mostly like quiet on the pro side from
That's what I was asking.
China.
Are there good pro Chinese players? I haven't heard
There's
anything.
one, and we call them Chengdu because they have like some old Chengdu Hunters players, but
Mm.
yeah, they've played like a little bit. But the last time we scrimmed them, we just like kind of first held them on every map. So I just don't know. I don't know if
Drama.
uh, um
I can tell a perpetually
I just don't
online
know.
Boger
I
is
don't know
these
what's
days.
going
This is his
on.
reaction to 10 things. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Asia not really taking a big interest in it has to do with like just the superhero genre of it all. I don't know. Are they just like not as big on superheroes or what? Because I know like that's
Yeah,
like a
well,
huge thing for like Western superheroes. Woohoo,
well,
Spider-Man!
yeah. I
Imagine
wonder how much the Marvel Rivals IP or the Marvel IP is. I mean, it's
yeah.
not that it's unpopular in Asia, but like I wonder how much compared to.
Mhm.
It feels like Marvel has become like a cultural cornerstone in a different way. Like it's a flag for, I'm a Marvel nerd. Like that's a whole cultural thing that
It
exists
is.
in the Western world. Whereas don't know if that. I genuinely do not know if that exists in most of Asia. Boger, you were saying something?
I was gonna say, imagine a Marvel Rivals but with anime characters. Now that would go hard. Now like Naruto, Bleach, fighting Sasuke with fucking whatever. It would be funny. It's just like a random thought. Don't
Well,
pay
that
attention to me.
actually
Yeah.
that actually brings up like a point of marketing where I hope they go the Fortnite route of just like any collab is a good
That
collab
would yeah.
and just throw it in there, right?
Yeah.
Like if we could have Iron Fist Naruto
Make
running around or
him no, just
something
make them
like
characters. Just add them as characters. Invincible Marvel Rivals. The
Well,
boys Marvel Rivals.
it was like Cristiano Ronaldo announced that he was like going to be
Yep.
as a character in like a new
A fighting
fighting
game.
game, and I was like,
Yep.
this has gone too far now. Like this is like
Nope,
we're now
not
just
far
putting
enough.
a celebrity as a character in a fighting game. Like this is like
Put
imagine if they were
flats
just
in
like
Marvel Rivals.
exactly like Flats needs to be a character soon. Flats, think about your kit because you're
New
gonna have to
Vanguard.
pitch that.
Okay.
New
I'm thinking about
Vanguard.
He just proposes Reinhardt in Marvel Rivals. He's like just put
Reinhardt,
Reinhardt
yes.
in, but call him Flats.
Big hammer, big shield, guys. What do you
For
think?
copyright reasons, just call him Flats. Yeah.
Flats.
Okay, so
Really
we're
distinct.
So one quick note before we get to concluding thoughts was while we're talking about like development stuff, I did want to mention it just because I was myself a little bit saddened and disappointed was the huge layoffs that actually came in right after basically near the launch of season 1. There was like the US branch of the Marvel Rivals team was basically laid off, right? So I saw there's a lot of reaction in the game dev community. I figured it was worth bringing up just because I think it's a good touchstone for how the gaming industry is, where it's like they release this very, very successful IP and still they laid off large chunks of, well, I think the entire Seattle office was let go of.
Wasn't there like a lot of disinformation around it though? Like I thought that like people came out saying it was only like a handful of people because like they were just like helping integrate it to the US, but the other people were like it's the whole office. Well, but like some people were saying it like the whole
Right.
whole
So
office
I was also
only, like,
unsure about this, and I was hoping you guys might have
You know
some
what I mean?
more
Mhm.
confirmation about what exactly happened, because I remember reading this as a big thing, but I also couldn't figure. I did some research. I couldn't really find any specific details about what it was. Just that the Seattle office was laid off. Now, whatever that number was, I don't know. So it's basically it's a clouded mystery. None of us really
Yeah,
know. Okay.
yeah.
I don't really know. I do know that they don't have any like the staff to talk to if there's like a problem, like the devs or whatever to talk to in terms of like you have a tournament issue, like even for like this last invitational, you have to like catch them at like 3 a.m. and they have to run everything through Google Translate, and there's not really anybody they have that really
Yep.
they just don't have like a NA person or Western person to like help and handle with that because they laid off those people, I would assume is what happened. And so it just makes talking with them and trying to reach any conclusion really, really fucking hard. So there was actually a time during this last invitational where there was like an hour break, right? Because something happened.
Oh my god,
where
I
it
was
was
there.
Heard about
It was
that.
3. Listen, motherfuckers, it was 3 a.m. my time. I was like, I'm gonna watch one more game. 1 hour, 30 minutes later, I was like, oh my god, I'm losing my fucking mind.
Didn't you have a
It-
sponsor for that day?
So
I had a sponsor for that day. It ended, and I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna stay and watch this match, right? I'm gonna watch Sentinels versus 100 Thieves, guys. It's gonna be fire. 1 hour, 30 minutes. It was 4:30 a.m. for me. I was like,
So-
holy shit.
what happened was, okay, there's no pause feature in the game, which is a huge, huge issue, by the way. There needs to be a pause feature in the game. There's also a problem with lobbies that when you are a spectator, you can't just like, it's not like Overwatch where a map ends, okay, now we can play the new map, everybody's back in the lobby. When you're a spectator, you get like stuck in the map or like spectating or whatever, and you don't actually go back to lobby. So to play the next map, all of the observers and host and everybody, all the players, all have to leave and go to a new lobby. Which is just, that's a lot of work, right? Like have to constantly redo the settings, whatever. There's no preset for all of that. So it's a lot of work. And what happened is we were almost like a full round into Koth, and one of the observers DC'd. So they told us mid round and they said, hey guys, we have to restart. And there was like this huge issue of like 100 Thieves was like, well, we should just get like the point cap, right? Like, because we already had it or whatever. And so we had like this like internal discussion. Both teams like disagreed on what should happen, like just full restart or get a point, or they get a point, but then they have like all these ults. So like it was just like a big mess. And to get a conclusion, because there's like a huge like language barrier and time difference issue, these they basically were like, oh, we're gonna have to go to the actual devs of the game and not just like the tournament helpers. And it took an hour and a half for them to like just go back and forth. And you know, that's what happens when you lay off all your people. Nobody can help.
That is actually kind of crazy. That's yeah. That it's so.
I
Like,
was so mad.
unstructured.
I was so mad. I was like, my sponsorship ended. I was like, okay, guys, I'll watch one more game. It's starting right now. And I was just sitting there, bro. I was just sitting there. I was like, waiting any second now, any second.
Yeah, and I felt so bad for the casters too. Like the plat chat
Bro,
was like
they were
blaming
trying so
them.
hard. They were trying
Yeah.
so hard. They were yapping for like 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, it was 1 hour of trailers. They showed us the Iron Fist. They showed
Yeah.
us Squirrel Grow. They
But
showed
they did
us
that
like
for us too, though.
it was insane. I was like, bro, I watched every trailer 5 times.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's not
Well-
fun for the viewer, it's not fun for the player, it was pretty bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like if you're raking in the millions, maybe the billions is Marvel Rivals. I think you can afford to hire some people to do at least like some local support, if nothing else. Like, come on, guys. Like, I think you can do that much. So, yeah. Seems like we don't have enough conclusive information to really say what happened there. But yeah, it sounds like they certainly don't have a lot of non-Chinese developers involved with the game, or like just people, staff involved with the game. Okay, let's go to the concluding thoughts then, because we don't have long left. So thank you, obviously, so much to you guys for giving me all this time. As we always do, we'll try and end on a look to the future. So we've discussed, the longevity of Marvel Rivals. But what are you looking forward to in the short term? Like season 2 is coming up, obviously, fairly soon. Maybe we'll reconnect then as well. What are you wanting to see in the next season, the next couple months? What's on your priority list? So we'll go to Bogur first. Bogur, what's on your priority list?
Make it playable for solo queue and high rank. So I guess do something about stacking. Add a pause function. I think it's really cool that you keep your O charge. That's awesome. Add a pause function in scrims and custom games. fixed up custom games in general. The settings are ass. Way up in the future, oh my god, if Marvel Rivals added something like a workshop, it would be amazing. It would be actually just like so glorious to see if you had more customizability in the thing. Performance issues hopefully fixed, or like at least try to fix it, right? And I just give us placements, bro. Give us placements. Stop like torturing bronze players. And yeah, I think otherwise it's kind of chill.
It's a humble list. Aramori, how about you?
I want to see some more cool characters, more unique characters go in.
LeBron James.
Like Gamora would be cool. I know everybody. I don't know if maybe you guys have had this too, Flats and Bogur, but like people will come into my chat and be like, "What Marvel heroes do you think they should add next?" Yeah, right. That's almost my face too. I'm like, oh, I don't really know.
I don't have an answer.
I don't have an answer,
on
guys.
broadcast, and I had no answer. I felt so bad.
Listen, I'll be
Yeah.
honest, guys. I don't watch Marvel movies. I'm sorry.
At least you weren't like, I think they
That's
should add that
sacrilegious.
Superman guy. Then you'd be.
Oh,
then
Batman, Batman. You know the Aquaman guy? That's a cool guy.
My light just went crazy.
But then Marvel would be like, no, not Aquaman. We have the other water adjacent Waterman.
No, but
Or
Namor was first. Namor was
in this
first.
game.
Namor was first.
Well,
I
yeah,
was being corrected many times.
Obviously, there's gonna be like, there's a lot of that where it's like DC had this guy first, Marvel had this guy first. So, but there's a lot of like insert budget version of the guy who already exists from the other franchise. So yeah, so you're kind of cool heroes, basically. Armor is your
cool heroes. Like Squirrel Girl and Jeff were so cool. I feel
Yeah.
like that also brought so many people into the game because they're like, I've never seen these characters
Imagine
before.
if they had Deadpool. Oh my god.
Deadpool would be
How many people are gonna play?
nuclear
That'll be
bomb.
insane. Yeah, that'll be insane.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think maybe part of their marketing strategies, like with the movies that are coming out, they're dropping the heroes, like the Fantastic Four thing. So cool. But just gameplay stuff, yes, pause feature, please. We thought, like, when we were scrimming alpha and beta, we were like, surely on release we'll have a pause feature, and if somebody DCs, we won't have to remake the entire lobby, or yeah. Anyways, pause feature. I know Deadlock had a pause feature where you could use it in ranked too. That was kind of
just a
interesting.
it's just a
That was
Dota
so
standard.
funny.
It's just a Dota. Dota had that for like 15 years now. It's always been a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so they just
It's
added it.
cool.
It's cool. I agree.
Yeah,
Just
Fitzy
add
hates
a
it, but
pause
I
feature,
like it.
please. And then
I mean, you can only pause a handful a
placements.
few times. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just placements. I'm good. Other than that, pause feature, placements, and cool heroes. Thanks. That's all I want. I'm easy to please.
Again, a very humble list. Flats, you got any big
Oh my god,
demands?
Fly's gonna start the nuclear bombs. Oh my god, we're
No, you greatly have misread me here. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Actually, I'm here as a bringer of chaos. I have no asks. I'm here for the ride. Don't come crying to me later on. Don't come crying to me later on about like, oh, they should have added this, or oh, I didn't. I'm just here to watch. I got no asks. I'm just here to have a good time and leave whenever I want.
That's smart.
And go in, go out, play Rivals, play Overwatch. I've been playing Minecraft all this week. Been having a blast. I was playing Fragpunk like 2 weeks ago. It was a great time. I just kind of jump around, do whatever the fuck I want these days. I'm too old now. I've played these games before. I've tried to warn. I don't want to get in another cycle again. I'm done. I'm just, if shit hits the fan, come tell me about it. I'll let you cry on my shoulder. Other than that, I don't care.
Flats has learned
I
from
like
his
that.
abusive relationship with Overwatch, and now he's only friends with benefits. He's like, look, no strings. Look, come on.
No strings.
You got your guys. I got my guy. Whatever, man. Like, no stress. Just keep it casual. All right. Well, I mean, that's, you know what? I think that's healthy. I think it'll less brain cells will be lost. I think banging your head against the wall when you don't ask. So, yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to say before I let you get going?
What if they add perks to Marvel Rivals?
Now whenever I hear perks, I just think of that edit with Aaron and the Future song with like the mask off.
I would love to get perked up in Rivals.
Well, they kind of do. They have the team ups. It's the same thing.
That's true. I mean,
It's
similar,
true.
not the same.
All right.
Anyways,
Well, I want to thank you guys, Bogur, Aramori, and Flats. Thank you so much for joining me again, guys. Love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for dedicating your afternoons or mornings and waking up for this. And I hope you guys will show them some love. Thank you for the love you've shown here. We'll be back hopefully actually sooner than last time. Maybe we'll reconvene season 2. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. And yeah, anything else before we sign off?
no, take care.
Watch Send Aramori this weekend. Marvel
Check out my
Rivals
plushie.
in game. That's a sick plushie. Go
Thank
Do
check
both.
that out more.
Buy the plushie while you're watching Aramori, or Bogur will break your kneecaps.
Exactly. Proof. SK will. SK will.
SK will. Okay, there you go. You got it. You heard it here first. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.
All right. Take care. Take care.
Bye.